right? So he set out a decree, right? And if you know what the background with the history of the Roman armies, a lot of them, basically them being Edomites, they were also homosexuals, right? So they would also have, sex amongst each other, right? Men with men. So, all right, let's get it. Let's get Ephesians chapter 5 real quick.
There's a Ephesians chapter 5 and verse 20. When everybody have it, please say con.
All right.
Con.
So we'll deal with it. All right, let's get it.
Con, Ephesians chapter 5, verse 20. Giving thanks always for all things unto God and the Father in the name of our Lord, HaMashiach Yahushua.
Right, read on.
Verse 21. Submitting yourselves one to another in the fear of God.
Read on.
Wives, submit yourselves unto your own husbands as unto the Lord.
Right, read on.
Verse 23. For the husband is the head of the
Salaki, read down to verse 25. Read down to verse 25.
Con, this is verse 23. For the husband is the head of the wife, even as Christ is the head of the church, and he is the savior of the body.
Right, so speaking about the wives, submit yourselves to your husband. The husband is the head of the wife. That's the order, like in 1 Corinthians 11 and 3. Read on.
Verse 24. Therefore, as the church is subject unto Christ, so let the wives be to their own husbands in everything.
Right, wives to their own husbands. Read on.
Husbands, love your wives.
What the Lord said?
Husbands, love your wives.
Right, so the Lord said, husbands, love your wives. Right, read on.
Even as Christ also loved the church and gave himself for it.
Right, but Claudius didn't want the men to have marriages with the women, with the wives. They didn't want them to have wives. Right, let's get Hebrews chapter 13 and verse 4. Hebrews chapter 13 and verse 4. So this man tried to stop, and it's funny because the Lord set it up like that, right? This is Esau's army, the Edomites, right? The men ain't gonna have no woman to, build with and, have families, kids and all that stuff. So what start to happen with that, their population stops growing, all right? But while that's happening at the same time, while their population is not growing, on the opposite side, Israel's population is growing, right? You got men picking up women, all of this stuff, having multiple wives, a lot of families, children, all of that stuff, and we start to grow as a nation, right? But what Esau tried to do, he tried to implement his laws around all the other nations as well, right? It's like a blanket. If he want the Edomites to follow the laws, his own people, he also want us to follow as well, right? Because we was technically like unto his slaves. But let's see what the Lord says. Let's get Hebrews chapter 13 and verse 4.
Hebrews chapter 13, verse 4. When everybody have it, please say con.
Con.
Con, this is Hebrews chapter 13, verse 4. Marriage is honorable.
What the Lord said,
marriage is honorable.
Right. So the Lord said marriage is honorable. Right. But this damn demon started try to stop men from having wives and to get married. Read on.
Marriage is honorable in all. And the
right. Marriage is honorable in all. Drop that. Let's get Sirach 25 and 1 down. All right.
Con.
So we went to Ephesians chapter 5. Now we went to Hebrews 13 and 4. Now let's get Sirach chapter 25. And let's go to verse 1. Let's get it. Bring it out when you got it, King.
Con. This Sirach chapter 25, verse 1. When everybody have it, please say con.
Con.
Con. Sirach chapter 25, verse 1. And three things I was beautified and stood up beautiful before God and men. The
Right? Read
unity
on.
of the unity of brethren.
The unity of brethren, that's the brotherhood, right? That can also tie in with an army. The mighty men is gathering together. The unity of brethren, read on.
The unity of brethren, the love of neighbors.
Right. People speaking about Valentine's Day, and they talking about a day of love, gifts, kisses, hugs, dates and all of this stuff. But the Lord said the love of neighbor. And part of you loving your neighbor is by keeping the commandments. Right? Love is an action word. Why you gotta wait till one day of the whole year to show your love to somebody? Con?
Come.
You can do that every day. Right? Love is an action word. Right? Read on.
A man and a wife that
A man and a
together,
wife that what?
that agree together.
Right. A man and a wife that agrees together. God?
Come.
So this damn Edomite is trying to stop men from having wives. No, the Lord said the blessing is that beautify him is a man and a wife that agrees together. Right? So yeah, you can have a wife. But with this damn devil, he causes all confusion. Right? Let's get Proverbs chapter 28.
Come.
Proverbs chapter 28. When the wicked bear rule. All right, let's get it. Let me see. Slackies, Proverbs 29 and 3.
There's an area called Blood Mountain. The pilots know where to drop our load. We just go get it. Where's the duffel?
The bear ate most of it.
See?
What?
A bear did cocaine.
What is that, the commercials or something?
The bear. It loves coke.
Slackies.
Go! Cocaine Bear. Only in theaters. Rated R.
All right, can you hear me?
Come.
All right, let's get Proverbs chapter 29. Let's go to verse 2.
Come.
You know where you got it, King.
Come. The water says. All right, this Proverbs.
Yeah, Proverbs chapter 29 and verse 2.
Come. This Proverbs chapter 29 and verse 2. When the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice. But when the wicked bear rule, the people mourn.
Right, when the righteous in authority, the people rejoice. But when the wicked bear rule, the people mourn. Right? The Lord even said in Genesis, for male and female come together, be fruitful and multiply. Right? So who are you to stop a man from getting a wife? Now, the man could be a soldier, but at the same time, he's able to get a wife as well. Right? Let's get 1 Corinthians chapter 7. 7 and verse 1. These are just different scriptures to show, different options. Right? You have some people like Paul. Paul said, man, to hell with everybody else, I'm just going to do the work. Right? And his whole mission was based on the works of Yahweh by H.O.I. Paul didn't have a wife or nothing. He just solo dolo. Right? So let me just show you a quick scripture talking about stuff like that. Right? So there's different options. Let's get 1 Corinthians chapter 7 and verse 1. The dark origins of Valentine's Day, Lupercalia, if you recall.
1 Corinthians chapter 7. When everybody have it, please say come.
Con.
And start at verse 1, King.
Come. 1 Corinthians chapter 7 and verse 1. Now concerning the things whereof ye wrote unto me, it is good for a man not to touch a woman.
Right? Let's see what they mean by that. Read on.
Verse 2. Nevertheless, to avoid fornication.
right? To avoid fornication, right? Read on.
Let every man have his own wife.
What the Bible said,
Let every man have his own wife.
right? Let every man have their own wife. Read on.
And let every woman have her own husband.
And let every woman have their own husband, right? Man and a woman, husband and wife. Gone?
Gone.
Right? We're going to follow what the Bible says. Now, when it's talking about let every man have his own wife and let every woman have their own husband, it don't mean a woman's supposed to have, 10 husbands or 6 husbands, because even Christ had a cut for that, right? Let's find this real quick. Because that all ties in with what? Fornication. Let's see. Get this one. All ties in with fornication. Get John chapter 4, Ak.
Gone.
John chapter 4 and start at verse 17. And then we'll go right back to 1 Corinthians 7. Matter of fact, start at verse 15.
You said John chapter 4, right?
Con. John chapter 4 and go to verse 15.
Con. When everybody have it, say con.
Con.
Con. This.
Wrong.
What was that?
John chapter 4 and verse 15.
No, I knew the scripture, but what was that post you was just on? All right.
Oh, no, I was just searching.
Okay, con. This John chapter 4 and verse 15. The woman say unto him, Sir, give me this water, that I thirst not, neither come hither to draw.
All right, read on.
Verse 16. Yahushua said unto her, Go, call thy husband, and come hither.
Right, so Yahushua, who respect protocol, he told the woman to go and call your husband. Right? He said he was going to give her the knowledge or the wisdom and understanding. What he was going to do, he was going to deal with the man. Read on.
Verse 17. The woman answered and said, I have no husband.
Right? So the woman said, I got no husband. Right? But read on.
Yahushua said unto her, Thou hast well said, I have no husband.
Right? So you think you ain't got no husbands, but what it says.
Verse 18. For thou hast had 5 husbands.
She had how many?
Dang. For thou hast had 5 husbands.
Why? Because she probably didn't understand that the people that she was sleeping with, the men that she was sleeping with, that became her husband. Right? But in 1 Corinthians 7, it says the woman's supposed to have what? 1 husband.
Con.
But what she had is what America called today, technically, boyfriends. So the term they switch it, they put it as boyfriends. No, that's your husband.
Salakia.
Con.
Side pieces.
Yeah, that's your side piece. Right? So yeah, that is your husband. And if a woman have more than 1 husband, that is adultery, that is fornication, right? And the Lord will bring judgment. But today, is a regular thing. You have a sister that got more than 5 dudes she's dealing with, right? She got 1 dude she's dealing with for bills. She got another one she's dealing with for sex. She's got another one she's dealing with for food, right? Another one she's dealing with for quality time, and they probably don't even know about each other, right? So check this right here, quick article right here. Damn mind. This is an Edomite woman with 4 husbands. All right. She done lost her damn mind. So let's find this right here. Yeah. So Polymeris, Florida woman with 4 boyfriends is pregnant. Right? Who's the daddy? A polyamorous woman in Florida with 4 partners is pregnant and says, despite sharing her bed with her many lovers, she's certain of who the father is. Why they never put her ass on a Maury show, man? Right? So this right here is an abomination. And of course, it's an Edomite. Right? All of this is an abomination. Right? That's why they say the whole Babylon. She has many lovers. Right? So Christ told his woman, now you got 5 husbands. Now let's go back to 1 Corinthians chapter 7.
Salakia,
Go ahead, all right.
you're gonna play any, meeny, miny, mo.
Yeah, any, meeny, miny, mo. Catch the devil by the toe.
Come on.
Catch the devil by the toe. And all this is tying in with Valentine's Day because of the random dates that they have. You know, they had a ritual where they would put people's names in like a raffle, in like a bucket or a box or whatever. And they'll have 1 box for the man and they have 1 box for the woman. And what happened is each will have to swap. So whatever name is picked in that box of that female, that man had to sleep with. So it could be somebody else's wife, right? And if you pick her name in the box for that whole day, you got it for yourself. And what that promotes? Fornication and adultery. Right? These are part of the customs of Valentine's Day or Lupercalia. Right? Let's go back to 1 Corinthians chapter 7, real quick.
You want verse 3?
Yeah.
Come. This 1 Corinthians chapter 7 and verse 3. Let the husband render unto the wife due benevolence, and likewise also the wife unto the husband.
Right? So that's speaking about, you know, marriage privileges, duties, you know, just in general. From there, jump all the way down. Let's see. Verse 28.
Come. This
Jump all the way down to verse 28.
This verse 28. But and if thou marry, thou hast not sinned.
So read that again, King.
This 1 Corinthians chapter 7 and verse 28. But if thou marry, thou hast not sinned.
Right. If thou marry, thou hast not sinned. Right. It's a blessing to be in a marriage. And speaking of that as well, get this real quick. Right. These are the type of shows that they got, right? These are the shows. It's called wife swap. Right. Same as the customs with Valentine's Day. You know, you pick the name in a box. You know, you get to spend the night with that person or somebody else's spouse. Same as they got it with this right here. This is a show called Wife Swap.
Wow.
All right. And they doing the same thing.
Is the boss in my house.
Some women need makeup.
He's gonna meet his match with her.
It's time for change.
I don't think my wife would be down for that one.
I'm your wife right now.
On April 4th, the show that redefined reality is back.
My husband is the boss in my house.
Some women need makeup.
He's gonna meet his match with her.
It's a time and place to be sexy.
Well, here's the time and here's the place.
I want to punch him.
And totally reinvented.
Wow, you're not a mom.
I'm a stay-at-home dad. I love chaos.
Yeah, I wonder. Wow.
I'm assuming you're.
Look at that. Man.
They went too far there.
Yeah, they went too damn far. But this is what we're dealing with now. Guys, somebody said Salakia.
Yes, sir. Always gotta sneak it in.
Khan, what you said?
I said they always have to sneak that in.
Khan, it could be a 30-second commercial and they'll sneak it in for 2 seconds quick. Everything was with images. Same as with the Super Bowl, everything is about imagery. Right? And that's what they do. Wife swap. Sick as hell, man. Let's get it, Ak. Read on.
But if thou marry, thou hast not sinned. And if a virgin marry, she had not sinned.
Right.
Nevertheless, such shall have trouble in the flesh, but I spare you.
Right. So he says, such will have trouble in the flesh, but he spare you. Right. What do you mean trouble in the flesh? You know, man, you know, he's burning inside. No disease. I'm not talking about burning with a disease, but you know, you can't be alone for too long, right? Like that Akon song, Mr. Lonely, right? So he got to find him a significant other, a spouse. Read on.
Verse 29. But this I say, brethren, the time is short. It remaineth that both they that have wives be as though they had none.
Right. So it says the time is short, right? We are in the last days. So much prophecies is going on, right? So much judgment is happening. A quick prophecy that we already see happening, 36,000 in Turkey, right? Let me get this real quick. One of these prophecies, biblical prophecies, 36,000 in Turkey. So much stuff happening right now. All right, here we go. February 13, 2023, over 36,000 dead from quake in Turkey and Syria. Right? This is all part of biblical prophecy. Remember, last Tuesday we was talking about it. The number was at 7,000, went up to 8,000, close to 10,000. Right? But now if you're looking at it today, a week later, it's at 36,000, and it's still going up. It's still going up. Let's get a quick one real quick, guys. Let's get Matthew's chapter. No, Slocky. Let's get Psalms chapter 91. Yeah, let's get Psalms 91. And let's jump to verse 7.
God.
This earthquake. Yeah, let's get it.
Psalms chapter 91, verse 7, where everybody have it, please say con. Con. Book of Psalms chapter 91 and verse 7, 1,000 shall fall at thy slacker, 1,000 shall fall at thy side, and 10,000 at thy right hand, but it shall not come nigh thee.
Right. So 1,000 is falling at thy side, 10,000 at thy right hand. Right? 1,000 is falling in Turkey, 36,000, matter of fact. But none shall come into those that's keeping the commandments. Right? So now from there, let's get Revelation chapter 11. And let's get verse 13. Revelation chapter 11 and verse 13. Show you this. Cloud. Turkey. So if y'all look it up online, there was a video. Here we go. There was a video of a cloud that showed up at Turkey a week before the earthquake happened. Y'all see this? They said it was a red cloud that showed up at Turkey a week before the earthquake happened. Right? And people were saying it was a weird-looking cloud, like a biblical red-looking cloud. I think they had a better picture for this as well. So, right? So let's get Revelation chapter 11. All of this is part of biblical prophecy that we're seeing. With the rumors of wars, all of these stuff that's happening. There we go. See if I get a better one. You know what to do. Chariot cloud. Turkey. All right, this is the one. This is what I was looking for. So look what it says. It says bizarre cloud formation in Turkey. And this was 3 weeks ago. Looks like something out of Nope. Now, when it's speaking about Nope, it's speaking about that movie. Right? Now, look. You would think it's a hoax. Bizarre UFO-like cloud hovers over Turkey. And this happened a week before the earthquake happened.
It seems like a...
So look. Don't that look weird as hell? A red-looking cloud over Turkey a week before the earthquake happens. Right? So now, what we know about this? Get Revelation chapter 11, start at verse 12, and then we'll go to 13.
On this Revelation chapter 11 and verse 12, and they heard a great voice from heaven, saying unto them, Come up hither. And they ascended up to heaven in a cloud, and their enemies beheld them.
Right, so that's speaking about the chariots, when Yahweh shall come to beam us up, Most High will, right? But look what happens after. Read on.
Verse 13, and the same hour was there a great earthquake.
There was a what?
A great earthquake.
Right, there was a great earthquake, not just a regular earthquake, but a great earthquake, right? So now let's go back to this. In Turkey. Right, there was a great earthquake. All right, this one right here, 36,000.
A week after two deadly earthquakes devastated Turkey and Syria, the death toll has topped 36,000. Rescuers continue to pull out more survivors from the rubble, but those on the ground are very much aware that time is running out for any possible survivors.
Right, 36,000 dead in that earthquake, right? Read verse 13 now. All right.
Verse 13, and the same hour was there a great earthquake, and the 10th part of the city fell. And in the earthquake were slain of men, 7,000.
How many?
7,000.
Right, so now check this. Check this. So look, last week, right? Last week.
The death toll in Turkey now stands, and Syria now stands at more than 7,500 people after two powerful earthquakes hit those countries. And that number is rising by the hour. Right now, nearly...
Right, so like I was saying, see if you see the title, 7,000 deaths confirming massive earthquake in Turkey. This is last week, 7 days ago. Right? So read that verse again. All of this is biblical prophecy.
This Revelation
verse 13.
chapter 11, verse 13, and the same hour was there a great earthquake, and the 10th part of the city fell. And in the earthquake were slain of men 7,000, and the remnant were affrighted and gave glory to the God of heaven.
Right? They gave glory unto the God of heaven. That means those that were still alive. Right? Because they knew the Most High wasn't playing games. So now check this. Get Wisdom of Solomon 5 and 21. And then we go back to 1 Corinthians. Just want to show two quick biblical prophecies that's happening right now. All right. Jesus. It's happening right now. All right, let's get it. Wisdom of Solomon chapter 5 and verse 21. Bring it out when you got it, King. And when everybody have it, say con. I think you probably on mute, Doc.
Con.
Nah, I got it. I was just waiting for people to say con.
All right, let's get it.
All right, there's Wisdom of Solomon chapter 5, verse 21. Then shall the right aiming thunderbolts go abroad, and from the clouds, as from a well-drawn bow, shall they fly to the mark. So
check this. This happened 9 years ago, right? The same statue.
Ronnie, stay giant. With 100 more sheets than Bounty.
See if I get it right. Is that at the end? The hell is this, a hoax video right here? Let me just go to the recent one. What the hell?
Lightning struck the Christ the Redeemer statue in Brazil straight on the head on Friday. Photos of Christ the Redeemer being struck by lightning on the head were taken on Friday the 10th of February in Brazil.
Right, Friday the 10th of February, right? And throughout that week, what was happening? The Grammys, the satanic Grammys. All right, so let's get to this one. All right,
lightning strikes Christ statue in Brazil's Rio de Janeiro.
Shit.
Lightning struck the top of the Christ the Redeemer statue in the Brazilian city of Rio de Janeiro. This happened during a thunderstorm that broke out late yesterday evening, and a bolt of lightning struck the head of the statue. This is not...
Read verse Wisdom Solomon 5:21 again. They want to mock Yahushua, right? This is all prophecy. Bring it out, God.
This is Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 5, verse 21. Then shall the right aiming thunderbolts go abroad, and from the clouds, as from a well-drawn bow.
As a what?
As from Salakia, and from the clouds, as from a well-drawn bow.
As from a well-drawn bow, right? Read on.
Shall they fly to the mark?
Shall they what?
Shall they fly to the mark?
So check this. It talks about as a right aiming thunderbolt, right? As a well-drawn bow. But people want to celebrate Valentine's Day, and who do they put in the face? Aslaki, who do they put as a picture as a well-drawn bow being drawn? Right? They put Cupid. Right? And what they put for Cupid, let's get this real quick. Y'all can see the screen?
Come
on.
Y'all can see it?
Cupid, right?
All right, Khan. So Cupid is what? The god of desire, erotic love, attraction, and affection. Right? And his symbol is what? A bow and arrow. Right? So his symbol is a bow and arrow. But I ain't matching up with what Yahushua got. Right? Because when the Lord throw that arrow, that right aiming thunderbolt, right? A thunder strike right at the head, headshot. So let's speak about Cupid real quick. In classical mythology, Cupid, which is Latin for Cupado, or passionate desire, is the god of desire, erotic love, attraction, affection. He is often portrayed as the son of the love goddess, Venus, right? And the god of war, Mars. So god of war, Mars, that's for war, right? And that also ties in with March. The word March also ties in with war for Mars, right? And Venus, you know, like the goddess of love, that also ties in with Aphrodite, right? So what they have in the Greek is Aphrodite, but in the Roman customs, they have as Venus. So they're basically saying Mars and Venus come together and they create Cupid. Another word for Mars and Venus is basically them speaking about Nimrod and Semiramis, right? And then they have Cupid. Cupid symbolized Tammuz. It's like a trinity, the same exact thing. He is also known as the Latin amor, love, Greek counterpart of Eros. Now, if you see the Eros, right? It's crazy as hell, right? So he's a little boy, supposed to be a son of a god. And he's walking, he's basically flying around, shooting arrows at people, right? And part of them arrows, what it does, it makes people fall in love, right? But the Lord said the right aiming thunderbolt aim at the mark, and that mark is at the wicked. But let's speak about arrows. Let's get Proverbs chapter 7. Speak about some arrows. Get this real quick. Let's get this real quick.
Salakia, what you wanted?
Proverbs chapter 7.
Go on.
All right. Well, we're going to hold that real quick. Let me just show this video.
Let's go.
Show them who we are.
When you think of Cupid, you might have a few different pictures in your head and not even realize it. In one, you might imagine the mythological winged god of love, beautiful, golden, and impossibly muscled beneath that tiny toga. In another, he might literally be a baby, a sweet red-cheeked cherub sleeping wistfully on a cloud. Both of these visions of Cupid are historically accurate, but how did such different interpretations come to be? The transformation in imagery relating to the god of love may actually give us a glimpse into the changing social structures in ancient Greece and Rome, and even into the human condition itself. We seemingly can't stop yearning for love, even when we fear the pain that nearly always comes with it. Cupid was the god of love in its many forms in Roman mythology. In the even more ancient Greek tradition, his name was Eros, the Greek word for desire, and he ruled over both passion and fertility. Cupid was an incredibly powerful god, as well as a troublemaker, at times even harsh, capricious, and thoughtless. Without care to the consequence, he could inspire fires of longing that consumed gods and mortals alike until there was nothing left of them. He even used love as a form of punishment. A broken heart was his most fatal wound. Richard Martin, a classics professor at Stanford University, explains, "In the Greek literary sources we have, he's depicted as just unconquerable, so whatever he wants to happen, happens, and he causes disaster." But despite all of this, Cupid was cherished at the altars of his temples as much as he was feared. Because even if mortals knew a shot from Cupid's arrow would hurt, even if it would make them crazy, they couldn't stop wanting to fall deeply, madly in love. And that is perhaps because, as the ancient Greeks seemed to realize, love is one of the most powerful forces in the universe. In Cupid's earliest iteration, dating back to 700 BCE, he was depicted as being a prime evil god, one of the first forces of creation and order in the cosmos. As told in Hesiod's Theogony, Eros was the son of Chaos, who was the original state of emptiness of the universe. In fact, Eros came into being at the same time as Gaia, the earth, and
So if you pick up on what they're speaking about, Cupid, also name tied in with Eros, they say he was the son of Chaos, right? What is Esau also known as today? Because if there's no order, there's what?
Lakia.
Go ahead, Doc.
No order, there's chaos.
Right. And that's why they got something called order out of chaos. Right? That's another term with the Illuminati or Freemasons. Right? They have order out of chaos. Part of chaos, like the Geiger stones. Right? Killing a lot of people, setting up, these harp machines, causing confusion amongst the people, wicked inventions that they're creating. This is all part of chaos. So now when they tie this in with Cupid, right, being him as a pagan god, and they say he was an evil god, right, same as Esau, right? Now pertaining to them with their shots or the bullets or the arrows, let's get Proverbs chapter 7 real quick.
Wow.
Let's get that real quick. Let's get Proverbs chapter 7, and let's go to verse. Go to verse 9.
God.
Because what this also ties into is with lust. So like they say, he shoot the arrow and then people start to fall in love. They can't stop themselves and they go after their burning desires, right? All this ties in with lust, right? And what that also ties in with, let's get Proverbs 7. Let's jump to verse 9.
Come, this Proverbs chapter 7 and verse 9. In the twilight, in the evening, in the black and dark night.
Right? In the twilight and the evening, so that means it's at nighttime, read on.
And behold, there met him a woman with the attire of a harlot.
Right? A woman with the attire of a harlot. So this is a man meeting a woman in the corner streets late at night. Right?
Con.
Read on. And is a harlot. Read on.
Met him a woman with the attire of a harlot and subtle of heart.
Right. Keep reading out.
She is loud and stubborn. Her feet abide not in her house.
Yeah, keep reading, Ken.
Now is she without, now in the streets, and lie in wait at every corner.
So she's basically for the streets. She's a hooker. She's a whore. Right? She's a harlot. And that's what happens on Valentine's Day. You know, people start to hook up with strange people. And especially in these times, some of these people that you think that's females, you know, they're trans or tranny, as you would say. Right? Now it says she don't abide in her house. Right? So a woman that's a harlot, they're going to be out in the corners or in the streets. Or they might have their fans only page. Right? So they could try to reel the people in. But the opposite of that, hold that real quick, God, and let's get Titus chapter 2.
Come on, Salakia.
Go ahead, all right.
With that last verse where it said her feet abide not in the house, you're gonna see a lot of selfies on in modern day time, a lot of selfies on the social media with the description out and about.
Con, right? Doing my thing. But let's see what a righteous woman's supposed to be doing in these times, especially. Let's get Titus chapter 2. So this harlot is not abiding in her house, right? She's a succubus. She's a prostitute, right? But let's see what the woman's supposed to be doing in these times. Let's get Titus chapter 2. And let's jump to verse. Verse 4.
Come on, where everybody have it, please say come.
Con.
Okay, Con. This Titus chapter 2 and verse 4. They, Salakia, that they may teach the young women to be sober.
To be sober, right? Read on.
To love their husbands.
To love their husbands, right? Not to love somebody else, not to love a stranger, but to love your husbands. Read on.
Con. To love their husbands, to love their children.
Right, read on.
Verse 5, to be discreet.
To be discreet, not to be all out and about, right? Read on.
Chase. Keepers at home.
What the scripture says,
Keepers at home.
Right, so the harlot is out in the streets and the corners, but a righteous daughter of Zion is going to be a keeper at home. Con?
Con.
Especially on this day, or this night, as you would say. Right? Because what happens, hey, you go out into these streets late at night, there's going to be a lot of weird, crazy stuff happening. You might get kidnapped. Right? So especially on this night, be a keeper at home. Read on.
But keepers at home, good, obedient to their own husbands, that the word of God be not blasphemed.
Right. Good, obedient to your own husbands. Right? Not to have 10 husbands, but you're only supposed to have one. That the word of God be not blasphemed. Right? Hey, you want to do some things at your house, you know, with you and your husband, go ahead. Right? But you don't have to go all out and about and just sleep with everybody else. That's wicked as hell. That's fornication. All right? So hold Proverbs chapter 7 now. Let's go back to 1 Corinthians chapter 7. All right, so I show those quick things with the thunderbolts, the earthquake that happened in Turkey, prophecies that's happening. So let's get 1 Corinthians chapter 7 real quick, and then we'll go back to Proverbs 7. All right, so Proverbs, 1 Corinthians 7 and verse 29.
1 Corinthians chapter 7, verse 29.
Come.
This is 1 Corinthians chapter 7, verse 29. But this I say, brethren, the time is short. It remaineth that both they that have wives be as though they had none.
Right. So what it means by that, it means there's going to be so much prophecies going on in these last days, in these times. And we got so much work to do, especially as men of Israel, that we're going to be busy, you know, nonstop. We're going to be doing so many things, you know, like the feast days, the classes, you know, making sure the congregation's in order, make sure everybody's in order, brothers and sisters, making sure we got everything organized. You know, we got so much work we got to do. So it's going to be so much stuff that we have on our plate dealing with these times in Babylon that's going to be almost like we ain't got a wife, even though we do. Right? So a man can have a wife, but, you know, all the workload we're going to have to carry in these times, you know, it's about having a balance. Right? Yeah, brother be like, damn, brother, you always at camp, you always here, man. You know, you single, whatever. Nah, I got a rip, but I put the work of the Lord first. You know, the work of the Lord come first. The goal is to get into the kingdom, right? So, like the Lord said, husband, love your wives. Khan, right? From there, jump to verse 38.
This verse 38 of 1 Corinthians chapter 7, verse 38. So then he that giveth her in marriage do it well, but he that giveth her not in marriage do it better.
Right. So it's speaking about a person that marries in these times, that's a blessing, right? But if you don't marry in this time because you're doing the works of 𝐤𝐿, the Lord said that can be even better because you're putting your focus, 100% focus on helping the nation, right? So, and part of that, that's basically a sacrifice. Everybody don't got to walk that path, but those that are willing to do it is a sacrifice, you know? And that's what Paul was basically doing. That's what he was. He was sacrificing for the nation. You know, he was traveling all over the different places. And while that was happening, get 2 Corinthians 11 and 26.
Second Corinthians chapter 11, verse 26. When everybody have it, say con. Con.
This is all the things that Paul had to go through. All right, bring it out.
Con, and it reads, in journeyings often, in perils of water, in perils of robbers, in perils by mine own countrymen, in perils by the heathen, in perils in the city, in perils in the wilderness, in perils in the sea, in perils among false brethren.
Right? So Paul got robbed. Paul was shipwrecked in the waters. Right? His own people was trying to kill him. The heathens hated him. Right? Because he was preaching about 𝐤𝐿. Right? He was in the wilderness. Right? Even people that was scheming on him. You had people that had a contract against him, try to put a hit out on Paul. Right? Read on.
Con.
Verse 27.
Verse 27, and weariness and painfulness and watchings often, and hunger and thirst, and fasting often, and cold and nakedness.
Right. Paul had to do all of this. So he had to put his focus on the works of 𝐤𝐿 100%. Paul didn't have a wife, so he put all that focus on the works of the Lord. Right? Read on.
Con, this verse 29. Salakia 28.
28.
Yeah, con, verse 28. Beside those things that are without, that which cometh upon me daily, the care of all the churches.
So what came upon Paul daily through his mind was worrying about the body, the church. He was worrying about all the brothers and sisters that he had to look after, he had to keep in communication with, right? He had to make sure their situation was going good between the spouses, you know, husband and wife, the couples, right? He had to deal with all type of situations, and he had to do a whole lot of counseling, right? So he had enough time to do all of that because he didn't have no wife, right? So imagine a person that got a wife today and still got to do all of that. That's a hell of a balance he got to keep. God,
Con.
right? It's not for everybody, but for those that's able to handle it, that's the grace of the Most High God. That's a blessing, right? So one thing Paul had to also look out for, he didn't basically have to look out for. Let's go back to Proverbs chapter 7 now. Let's go back to Proverbs chapter 7, and let's go to verse 12. So Proverbs chapter 7 is a good chapter speaking about a man that got caught up with a prostitute, right? And the judgment that came with it. So Proverbs chapter 7, let's go to verse 12.
Proverbs chapter 7 and verse 12. Now is she without, now in the streets, and lieth in wait at every corner.
Keep reading.
So she caught him and kissed him, and with an impudent face said unto him, I have peace offerings with me. This day I have paid my vows.
All right. Read on.
Therefore came I forth to meet thee, diligently to seek thy face, and I have found thee.
Right, read on.
I
Yeah,
have
keep reading on down. All right.
Time. I have decked my bed with coverings of tapestry, with carved works, with fine linen of Egypt. I have perfumed my bed with myrrh, aloes, and cinnamon.
Right. So let me show you what he means by this, or what she means by that. Declaration. Let's see what she means by this. So read that verse again, Ak.
Come. This is verse 16. I have decked my bed with coverings of tapestry, with carved works, with fine linen of Egypt. I have perfumed my bed with myrrh, aloes, and cinnamon. Come, let us take our fill of love until the morning. Let us solace ourselves with loves.
Right. So this is a prostitute that's saying this to this man. So what happened on Valentine's Day as well? A lot of prostitution, right? People buying prostitutes. You know, it could be male, female, all different type of things, whatever wicked desires that they want to follow. Y'all see the screen?
Come.
Right. So she filled her bed with love, with myrrh, all these different designs. Right. She got it all decked out, all these different designs. And what she's doing, go ahead, Ak.
With them fine linen, it said, with fine linen of Egypt.
God. So what she's doing, she's reeling him in. And she got it decked out, nice designs, it smell good and everything. She's reeling him in. All right. And she's setting up that trap. Read on.
Come. Verse 18, come, let us take our fill of love until the morning. Let us solace ourselves with loves. Verse 19, for the good man is not at home.
For what?
For the good man is not at home.
Do any of y'all know what that means? Say Salakia. Y'all know.
Salakia.
Yeah, sis.
Her husband's not home.
Right. So she got a husband. So she reeled the dude in. The dude ain't probably know she had a husband. But she's speaking all good things to him, smooth words, sweet talking him. Right? And this man is simple because he don't understand what's going on. And by the time he by the time he get caught, he found out, oh shit, she got a husband. Right? So what also happens on Valentine's Day, cheating. There we go.
please be seated.
Hello, Your Honor.
Hello.
This is a case of Hilburn versus Barnes.
Thank you, Jerome. Good day, everyone. Ms. Hilburn, you admit that you've been caught up in a love triangle for the past 3 years, which you say resulted in the birth of your 10-month-old daughter, Saray. But you're here to prove she is the defendant's baby.
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Barnes, you claim that you discovered Miss Hilburn was cheating on you on Valentine's Day.
Damn. Right? So he was probably the good man. The man was probably at work. And while he was at work, she was at home dealing with Sam I am, and got pregnant with a child. Let's see.
Your relationship ended, but soon after giving Ms. Hilburn another chance, you discovered she was still sleeping with the other man.
Yes.
Right? A love triangle, as they would call it. So now check this. Cheated on Valentine's Day. Is it at? Let's see. 30%. All right, here we go. Put cheated. All right, can y'all see the screen?
Gone.
All right. Research finds cheaters love to stray on February 14th and are willing to spend up to $250 on gifts for their affair partners. All right, so that's that side piece, or that side nigga, as you would say, sloggy, but that's that side piece on Valentine's Day that you would have. Right, 30% of cheaters have an affair on Valentine's Day. Right, so why do they pick that day? That's a perfect day for them to blend. You know, love is in the air. Right, that's what they say. Love is in the air, and that also ties in with Cupid, with that arrow. You know, follow your desire, follow your lust. So what's happening with this man? He's sleeping with a woman that has a husband, right? And she's reeling him in. She said, hey, man, the husband is away, right? Read it again, Ak.
Verse 19, for the good man is not at home. He is gone a long journey.
All right, read on.
Verse 20, he had taken a bag of money with him.
Right, he took in a bag of money with him, read on.
And will come home at the day appointed.
Right, so she got everything set up. She know his schedule. When he's coming back, he's probably taking a trip, business trip, right? She got everything set up. Oh, you know what's funny? He might be taking a business trip and he got a side piece himself. Right? So they could possibly both be cheating on each other. Okay? Especially nowadays. Right? So the same thing that happened with this, hold that real quick, Gok. Let's get Genesis chapter 39. Let's get it. Let's get Genesis chapter 39. And let's start at verse 1. The same thing that happened here. So this man is sleeping with another man's wife. But when Joseph got that option or that chance, let's see what he did. Right? Joseph, when he was in Egypt. So let me put it on the screen for you.
Genesis chapter 39, verse 1. When everybody have it, please say Khan.
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 Bring it out, King.
And it reads, and Joseph was brought down to Egypt And Potiphar, an officer of Pharaoh, captain of the guard, an Egyptian, bought him of the hands of the Ishmaelites, which had brought him down thither.
Right? So Joseph was sold into slavery by his brothers. Right? Read on.
Verse 2, and the Lord was with Joseph, and he was a prosperous man, and he was in the house of his master, the Egyptian.
Right? Jump to verse 5 now.
Verse 5, and it came to pass from the time that he had made him overseer in his house, and over all that he had, that the Lord blessed the Egyptian's house for Joseph's
sake. God. Read on.
And the blessing of the Lord was upon all that he had in the house and in the field.
Right. So Joseph was watching over the house of the Egyptian. Right. He was put in a high position. You know, he had a good job and everything. Right. Read on.
Verse 6. And he left all that he had in Joseph's hand, and he knew not all he had, save the bread which he did eat. And Joseph was a goodly person and well favored.
Right. So it said Joseph was a goodly person. That means he was a good looking man and well favored. Right. Read on.
Verse 7. And it came to pass after these things that his master's wife cast her eyes upon Joseph, and she said, lie with me.
So this is the Pharaoh's wife, right? Eyeing Joseph down, right? Remember, he's a good-looking man. He's an Israelite, good-looking man, big, strong, you know, tall, dark, and handsome. So the Pharaoh wife is looking at Joseph like a piece of meat and telling him to lie with her, right? To have sex with him, right? Read on.
Come, verse 8. But he refused and said unto his master's wife, behold, my master wotteth not what is with me in the house, and he had committed all that he had to my hand.
Right? So Joseph said, nah, I ain't doing that. You know, I'm a loyal brother. You know, the master, your husband left. You know, he told me to look after the house, take care of the people in the house. Read on.
Verse 10. And verse 9. There is none greater in this house than I, neither had he kept back anything from me but thee, because thou art his wife. How then can I do this great wickedness?
Right. So this is a man that feared the Lord, kept the commandments, and had some dignity. Huh?
Con.
Right? Read on.
Con. And sin against God. Verse 10. Verse 10. And it came to pass as she spake to Joseph day by day that
she spoke to Joseph what?
Day by day.
So she been trying for damn near weeks to try to get this man. Right? She been trying to get this man to cheat. Like to sleep with her. Right? Read on.
And it came to pass that as she spake to Joseph day by day, that he hearkened not unto her.
Right. He didn't listen to her. She tried to get him to basically sleep with her. Right. She tried to seduce him all different type of ways, you know, dressing all seductress, you know, all different type of ways. Right. Read on.
To lie by her or to be with her.
Right. Keep reading.
Verse 11, and it came to pass about this time that Joseph went into the house to do his business.
Right. He's about his business. What happens?
And there was none of the men of the house there within.
Right. Read on.
Verse 12, and she caught him by his garment, saying, lie with me. And he left his garment in her hand and fled and got out.
Right. So she basically tried to rape this man. She was sick and tired of being denied by him day by day. He was turning her down and she was going crazy. Right? So Joseph, a Hebrew Israelite man, kept his dignity, feared the Lord, kept the commandments, right? Even though that heathen was a damn heathen, you know, he still didn't want to disrespect the commandments of Yahweh. You know? So now she tried to rape this man. She grabbed his garment and everything, like, yo, we're going to do it right here, right now. He's like, hell no. He got the hell up out of there, right? He denied Satan. That's what it was. He denied that lust. But in Proverbs chapter 7, you know, the man is walking into that damn grave. He's walking into that grave, that trap. Right? Read on.
Gone. Verse 13. And it came to pass, when she saw that he left his garment in her hand, she was fled forth.
Right. Read on.
Verse 14. That she called unto the men of her house, and spake unto them, saying, see, he had brought in a Hebrew unto us to mock us. He came unto me to lie with me, and I cried with a loud voice.
Right. Don't that sound familiar?
Come.
Where have we heard this before? Right?
Karens all day.
Come. Check this article. Right? This will happen in the time, you know, on the plantation, cotton field, as you would call it. You know, the Edomite white woman would try to sleep with the black man, you know, and the Edomite husband would be away, you know, going to do his business. And then she tried to sleep with the man, try to have sex with him. And if he denied her, she's like, yo, if you deny me, hey, when her husband come back, she gonna lie and said that he raped her. So look what this article is talking about. White woman pleads guilty to falsely accusing 2 black men of rape. First, she said the 2 black men violently raped her. Then she said they didn't. Then she said they only accused of the men of rape because she was trying to gain the interest of a potential boyfriend. God? So the same thing that this Egyptian woman tried to do to Joseph, and he was not having it, and now she was basically going to say that he raped her. Right? It's the same thing as these Edomite women do today. Right? Then she said she never told the police that she was raped at all. Now she admits that she lied about the lie she lied about. Damn, lying after lying. But I bet you these men got locked up for false accusation. Right? Because this Edomite wanted to be in her lust. She desired these men, and they didn't want her. They turned her down. The same exact thing. So now let's go back to Proverbs chapter 7. See, I still got this video.
God.
The same exact thing. Get it out. Proverbs chapter 7.
I'm there. Which verse you want?
All right. Let's jump all the way to verse.
We was at 20 last.
Let's go to verse 20.
Proverbs chapter 7 and verse 20. He had taken a bag of money with him and will come home at the day appointed.
Right, read on.
Verse 21. With her much fair speech, she caused him to yield. With the flattering of her lips, she forced him.
Right, so with much fair speech, she talked a good game, right? She seduced him and caused him to yield. Right, the atmosphere, you know, stuff smelling good. You know, got the bed decorated and all of that stuff. And then, you know, he's not thinking, you know, with his head up here, but he's thinking with his head down there. You know, and the same thing that she tried to do with Joseph. This man's fighting for his life. Yo, right? This man is fighting for his life right now. He's like, God damn, man. And what he should have done is got the hell up out of there. Like what happened with Joseph. Right? She was grabbing on him, trying to rape him. He's like, nah, I'm getting the hell up out of here. But he didn't want to listen. So what happens now? Read on.
God. Verse 22. he goeth after her straightway, as an ox goeth to the slaughter. Or
As a what?
As an ox goeth to the
Right.
slaughter.
So he's walking into the slaughter. What does that mean? Let's see. Read on.
As an ox goeth to the slaughter, or as a fool to the correction of the stocks.
Right? So he's a lamb in the slaughter, right? Let's see what happens. Read on.
Come. Verse 23. Till a dart strike through his liver.
Till a what?
Till a dart strike through his liver.
Uh-huh.
As a bird hasted to the snare, and know it not that it is for his life.
Right. So there was an incident that happened. So it basically say till a dart strike through his liver. That also ties in with Cupid with the arrows that he shoot. Right? As a bird hasteth to the snare, to the trap, and knoweth not that it is for his life. Right? So he's messing with this harlot or this prostitute, not knowing she's setting him up. Right? Spiritually, he's going to be destroyed because of fornication, adultery, and physically because he got killed. Right? So let me show up this real quick. Rapper gets killed. I think this happened last year. Let me see. Yeah, this is the one I was looking for. Rapper Trouble, that's the one. All right. All right, here we go. Yeah, I can see the screen, right?
Filing a simple return. We have new details in the deadly shooting that took the life of Atlanta rapper Trouble.
This morning, arrest warrants are giving us more insight into the moments leading up to his death.
The new developments are coming a little more than 24 hours after police arrested that murder suspect.
Molly Oak joining us in studio this morning with the latest on the investigation and some new details coming out of that warrant.
And once we got our hands on those arrest warrants, it gives us a bit of a clearer picture of what led up to the death of Atlanta-based rapper Morel, or also known as Trouble. They say the man charged with murder, Jamichael Jones, and his girlfriend of 3 years broke up about a week ago. The woman told deputies that she and Jones previously lived together, but that he left after she says he hit her during an argument. In the warrants, investigators say Jones went to his ex-girlfriend's apartment in Conyers early Sunday morning and forced his way in. That's where he found his ex and Orr asleep in a bed. After allegedly punching her in the face and fighting with Orr, warrants say Jones pulled a gun, shot Orr in the chest, and then left the apartment complex 7 minutes later. Right now, Jones will remain in jail. A judge denied his bond yesterday, just hours after turning himself in. He faces felony murder, aggravated assault, and home invasion charges. He's due back in court in a week. Cheryl.
All right, Molly, thank you.
Right. So this was his this girl ex-boyfriend, right? That he was still attached to her. He was still trying to mess with her. And the rapper came in, rapper Trouble came in, messed with the chick. Didn't even know about her past, and the ex-boyfriend comes in, catched him on the bed, you know, sleeping together, and he had an argument with his ex-girlfriend, killed her and killed the dude, right? And that's why it's important, you know, if you're going to court with somebody or if you're dealing with somebody, know about their past, know about their crazy ex-boyfriends or whatever, you know, so you can always be on point. God? And know who you dealing with. Because that man came back and ate out the whole damn room. Right? And that's what happened. That was a trap. You know? Probably was dealing with multiple people, and look what happens now. So now the brother's in prison. You know, these are so many scenarios that could happen, especially on Valentine's Day. Same as with them two Edomite couples. You know, found out his wife was cheating on him, and she was pregnant with a child. The next thing, he's putting their ass in court. So this is another one. Let's see. Yeah. All right, this is the one as well. I think this was on Facebook. They had two of them. They had one on Facebook, and they had one on what's that video? All right, here we go.
I said I would never go to Facebook with my problems, but y'all need to hear this. I'm working 4 motherfucking jobs, busting my motherfucking ass, man. I've been taking care of this girl since she was 19, man. We've been living together. I got 3 motherfucking jobs, man. I ain't never fooled around on none of that, man. I come home from work tonight, and I knew something wasn't right because I was supposed to work a double. But I come home from work tonight, and even before I came home, excuse me, I'm out of breath. She keep calling me asking am I working a double, so I lie and tell her, yeah. You know, I stick the key in the door. First off, when I get off the bus down the street from the house, I see a car parked in the driveway that I ain't never seen in the driveway before. So I stick the key in the door, man. I stick the key in the door, man. I walks in and I hear goddamn bad rider running and shit, candles and shit laying in the bathtub. I walk in this motherfucking, man. It's a goddamn nigga naked, man. A nigga naked, man, standing in my motherfucking bathroom, man. Standing in my motherfucking bathroom, man. A motherfucking nigga standing in my bathroom naked, man. Standing in my motherfucking bathroom naked, man. Got my bitch up on the sink, motherfucking candles and shit. Eating that motherfucking pussy, man.
Yeah, Salagi, but
So you know what I did? I backed away, man. I went in the kitchen, the tool drawer. I came back. I busted the door, and I bust that bitch in her motherfucking head with this motherfucking hammer. Now, this to all you cheating ass bitches out there. Don't fuck around and let your man catch you. You go fuck around and get busted in your goddamn head with a hammer. Her goddamn ass laying goddamn in the garage right now. I'm about to cut this bitch up, put her in the trunk, and toss her ass over in the goddamn goddamn. I'm about to toss this bitch in the motherfucking right over there on the Cincinnati Bridge. I'm going into Kentucky. They gonna find this bitch floating by the Bengals practice field. Think I'm playing, man. I worked too goddamn hard for this. The goddamn nigga thought he just was gonna get up out of there, so I bust him in his motherfucking head with a hammer. He fell in the bathtub, and I threw the goddamn radio in the tub. He in there burnt up now. All you women out here fucking around on y'all's man, you dirty ass bitches, you ain't no good, you need to be killed. God damn it. And after this, I'm putting this on the internet. I'm going down to the police station and tell them, yes, I bust that bitch in the head with a hammer, and I threw the goddamn radio in the goddamn tub because they deserved it.
yeah, Salakia. I got the message.
He was serious.
Hopefully, y'all all got the message, man. That's why it says, wife, love your husbands. Husband, love your wives. You know? Stay in your marriages. Don't try to commit adultery with each other. Because the Lord is watching everything, man. And this is what happens, especially on Valentine's Day. Huh? Easy, man. That man told it all. He was like, he wasn't hiding a damn thing. And the thing is, the Lord put the spirit of jealousy on him. You know? The Lord put that spirit of jealousy on him. And what that was a crime of passion. So same as with the rapper Trouble, messing with this chick, even though that was her ex-boyfriend, he didn't know her past. He didn't know her history. Or he probably did, but he just didn't care. Right?
Salaki.
But what happens is the Lord always bring that judgment. And this is a lot of things that's going to be happening, especially on this night, on this Valentine's Day. You know, the acts that they commit today, people cheating with people, all of this stuff, don't worry, it's going to catch up to them. Right? And this is what Esau has set up for these days. And wickedness is going to catch up to those, man. Somebody said Salaki?
Khan, I did, King. Yeah, Salaki, I had a precept for that video right there.
Bring it out.
Yeah, this is the book of Proverbs, chapter 6 and verse 34. Right? And it reads.
Proverbs 6 and 34. Anybody have to say Khan?
Khan.
Right?
Yo, Salakia, that's why that's why we need the Lord, man.
Khan.
That's why we need the Lord, man. So we ain't got to deal with none of this stuff. You know? Wives love your husband, right? Husband love your wives, man. You know? Let's not do any cheating or adultery in Israel, man. So we can get away from stuff like this. We ain't got to worry about stuff like this. You know, whatever stuff y'all going through with your spouse, you know, you can always make it work. You know, but don't go that route of cheating. Like, don't do that, man. Don't do that, man. Yeah. Go ahead, Doc. Bring it out.
Salaki, if you ain't happy in your relationship, it's better to just leave, man. You don't want to be having this one person there providing for you. Like I said, man, if you're not happy, just get up out of there, man. You could prevent yourself. This is wisdom right there, you know. Just save yourself from a headache and a heartache from getting yourself into some mess like this. But,
and I remember, like you said about Cupid, he loves what? Chaos. Right? He loves chaos. So this is chaos right here. Because the Lord said for the husbands and the wives come together and be married, have marriage. Right? Be fruitful and multiply, bring forth children, not to cheat on each other, adultery and fornication. But when you're doing that, you know, you're following your desire and your lust. People forget about the judgment that's going to come after. You know, and the man said he had 3 jobs, working 3 jobs, providing for her and all of this stuff. And look, everything comes in threes now. You know, because killed her, killed the dude, and now he destroyed his life. Or he might even commit suicide. Khan? Yeah, man. We ain't got to deal with none of that, man. Khan, like the sister said. Taking the bus at that, coming home to her cheating. Yeah, shit. Yeah. Yeah, I'm talking from experience. Same thing, not the exact same thing, but, you know, something like that happened to me as well. But, you know, I take it with experience. From that, you get wisdom. Never thought it happened to me, but it definitely did happen to me. Right? So, read on.
Yeah, for further edification, I'm going to bring it back to, before I get that Proverbs 6 and 34, I'm going to read one more time Proverbs 7 and verse 19. It said, for the good man is not at home. Yeah, he doing overtime. This was going on. And you already know all that work, you know, that frustration, you know, that work is jacking him up right now. So he trying to escape to come home to his wife, to his safe haven, you know. Then to come
a little rest.
Right. For his rest. But to come home to that madness, nah, he really turned up now. You understand? All right. So now I'm gonna get Proverbs chapter 6 and verse 34. And it reads, for jealousy is the rage of a man. Therefore, he will not spare in the day of vengeance. So he ain't sparing no woman, no man. He's on, you know, he's on go time right now. Right now, this man is turning up, and enough is enough. And he done had it through with this woman, through whatever dude that was, and all hell done broke loose out there. But I yield.
Beautiful precept, right? Jealousy, you know, The money couldn't stop him, nothing could stop him, because it's a spirit, it's a rage that just takes over, right? And what happens with that? The Lord controls that. So what happened was that with that, that's a crime of passion. Because what happens, you start to black out. You can't even think. You're like, and you just snap. You're not worried about tomorrow. You're not worried about your expenses. You're not worried about your life. You just snap. You know, everybody got a breaking point, right? And the man was going through it. He just snapped, right? So that's a hell of a precept, man. Let's get a quick one. Let's get Sirach chapter 23.
Come on.
Sirach chapter 23. Yo, oh man. Yeah, Salakia. Yeah, I'm just laughing, man, because like I said, the same thing happened to me. And at that time, it wasn't a good feeling. You know, it was not a good feeling, but you know, I could look back at it and you know, like the saying go, you laugh and crying, you know? So yeah, excuse me, I'm laughing a bit because I'm like, damn. Man said, man said he got that hammer. Yeah, she want to get her boots knocked out, right? So he gonna knock out. All right, let me get a quick one, Let me get Numbers 5 and 14 real quick.
Come on.
Let me get that real quick, man. And then we go to Sirach 23. Yeah, the laugh and crying. The laugh and crying.
Laugh to keep from crying, King.
Yep, the laugh and crying. But like Bob Marley said, every little thing is gonna be all right.
Right.
Right. Let's get it real quick. Let's get Numbers chapter 5. And let's get it. Let's start at verse 13. Start at verse 13. Or matter of fact, 12. This is what Valentine's Day promotes: adultery, sleeping with people's wives, right? Side niggas, side pieces, all of this stuff. Right? Where he gonna break you off a piece of the hammer. You want to talk about greatest hits?
Yo, yeah, that's a good one.
Oh, man.
Yo, you wild for that one.
Yeah, man. Bring it out. Oh man. Jeez. Bring it out, King. Numbers chapter 5, verse 12.
Con. This is the book of Numbers, chapter 5 and verse 12. Speak unto the children of Israel and say unto them, if any man's wife go aside and commit a trespass,
And
commit a trespass against him,
right? Read on.
And a man lie with her carnally.
Right. So if she cheat on her husband with another man, right? That's what it means to lie carnally, to have sex, right? Read on.
And a man lie with her carnally, and it be hid from the eyes of her husband.
And if it's hid from the eyes of her husband, right? The husband ain't see the act happen, right? Read on.
Con. And it be hid from the eyes of her husband, and be kept close, and she be defiled.
And be kept close. That means she kept it as a secret, right? God.
And
she kept it as a secret, and she be defiled. Read on.
And there be no witness against.
And there be no witnesses. So she thinks she's safe. She thinks she kept the secret. Ain't nobody speaking about it. Nobody caught her, right? And mind you, this is the Bible, right? So look what happens.
Neither she be taken with the manner, and the spirit of jealousy come upon him.
And the what?
And the spirit of jealousy come upon him.
And the spirit of jealousy come upon him, right? Let me ask you that question. Who's the one that sends the spirit of jealousy on the man? Who's the one that puts that on?
Salakia.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
You go ahead. Oh, I was going to say the Most High.
Khan. Right? The Most High is the one that puts that on. All right. So sisters like to say they got women intuition, but sister, be careful, because you might think you got women intuition. That might be true, but if the Lord is dealing with your husband and you cheat on him, you in a whole world of trouble. You in a whole world of trouble. Read on.
Come on.
And the Lord ain't even got to deal with your husband, because that's the contract between y'all made that contract, husband and wife, right? That's the story what happened with Nabal and Abigail. Abigail was still Nabal's wife, even though Nabal was a wicked nigga. But what happened? Abigail still did her duty as a wife, and Nabal, the Lord judged Nabal because of him being wicked as hell, right? And the Most High had mercy on Abigail and spared her from that marriage by killing the husband, so that she don't commit a sin by her sleeping with another man to get out of that marriage, right? So the Lord saved her in that, and she kept her dignity, kept the commandments, and did her part as a wife in her duty. Con? So what happened with Abigail? She was blameless, right? But Nabal, all the sin came on him, and the judgment came on him. So Abigail left that marriage, she was blameless. Then she married David, a righteous man, right? And it was both blessed, right? Read on.
Come. Verse 14, and the spirit of jealousy came upon him, and he be jealous of his wife, and she be defiled. Or if the spirit of jealousy came upon him, and he be jealous of his wife, and she be not defiled.
Right? So now it's like something just he could just tell. He's like, yo, he's going to sleep, and he's like, something ain't right. Right? And whether y'all sisters believe it or not, when you have sex with your husband, you consummate the marriage, your spirit is joined together. Right? So he might understand certain things you're going through. You might start to understand certain things he's going through. You know, feelings, emotions, all this stuff, because your spirit is attached together. Y'all don't got to see it, but it's there. But y'all can feel it. So now whatever affects you affects him, vice versa. Right? So now what happens? Go ahead, King.
And that's what the man on the video said. He said he knew something wasn't right because she kept calling, so he felt that connection, that something was about to go down.
God. That's the Lord doing that. He didn't know how to explain it, but if he knew the scriptures, it's right here. It's all here. Right? It is all here. Go ahead.
Jeremiah brought out a heavy one because she basically just gave herself away. And whether she realized it or not, that guilt was burning her up, man. So she had that guilty conscience, the spirit of guilt, and he felt the brother felt, the husband, he felt something was up. He picked up on it, on his senses, on his on his intuition, so to speak.
Right. Right. So from there, jump all the way on down, because this is what happened. It's part of like a sequence that happens. Jump all the way down to verse 19. That's why people got to be careful, man. Got to be careful. The Lord sees everything. You're in a marriage, be honest with each other. Issues going on, communicate. Right? Don't let Esau and Babylon try to confuse you, and then you could just go ahead and cheat on your spouse and all that. That's not how this works. Right? There will be repercussions. We don't bring it out.
I want to say one more thing. When people get married, or people have a boyfriend, a girlfriend, or husband or wife, you don't know what they gonna do when they find out you cheating on them. They might be the mildest person in the world, but he working, trying to take care of you, trying to do this, or she doing the same thing, and you come home, you don't know what they'll do. So y'all got to keep that in mind too. I yield.
And that's vice versa. Same as with a man. You know, like the saying goes in the scriptures, I'll show those precepts as well. A man can have multiple wives, but even in that, there's a way to do it as well. Right? There's a process with that as well. And you can't be lying to your woman, you know, your wife, and saying, nah, I don't got no other wife. I'm dealing with this and that. Nah, you got to be honest. You know, if you're courting a sister, let her know what it is from the jump. You know, you believe in multiple wives, this and that, you know, and whatever goes on from there. But you got to be honest. Honesty is the best policy. Khan?
Khan.
Because you don't want to come back and bite you like a spider sense or like the spider bite. All right? And then your spider sense starts tingling. The reason why your spider sense is tingling because that person got a tingling feeling down there. You know? And somebody else is playing with that person. And you ain't gonna like it.
So like it. And a tingling feeling you might have to go to the doctor too.
Yeah, you might have to go to the doctor.
Come on.
Right? You know how they say lean on me? You don't say cheat on me. You might have to go to the doctor, man. Jump to verse 19. All right, let's get back to it. Man, yo. We just say, all praise Yahweh Bashim Yahushua, man, that we Israelites and we got commandments. Because shit. Bring it out. Verse 19.
Come on, I got you. I was trying to line the scripture up with Jeremiah when he talking about that itchy feeling that you might have to go to the doctor. There's a scripture that says he's gonna send a plague on you from Egypt. That's not even written in the book.
Yeah, and I got a precept for that as well. So let's get verse 19 real quick and jump on down. Then we'll get to the one in Sirach 23. Because on in Sirach 23.
Khan, this verse 19. And the priest shall charge her by an oath and say unto the woman, if no man had lain with thee, and if thou hast not gone aside to uncleanness with another instead of thy husband, be thou free from this bitter water that causeth the curse.
Right? So he have the woman drink a type of water. He put like, you know, different ingredients in it. Right? And it's all set up. It's a mixed concoction. Right? And if she's telling the truth, the spirit is going to reveal it. If she's lying, the flesh is going to reveal it. What happens? Read on.
Verse 20. But if thou hast gone aside to another instead of thy husband, and if thou be defiled, and some man have lain with thee beside thine husband,
read on.
Then the priest shall charge the woman with an oath of cursing, and the priest shall say unto the woman, the Lord make thee a curse and an oath among thy people. When the Lord doeth make thy thigh to rot.
Thy thigh to what?
Thy thigh to rot.
And what else?
And thy belly to swell.
And what?
And thy belly to swell.
This is what the priest was able to do. Right? What the priest was able to do, it was almost like fast forwarding. If you slept with this man in a span of 9 months, that's how your belly's going to be looking. God?
God.
If you slept with this man, the priest brought in mixed concoctions to set it up to where it's showing how your belly's going to be looking. Basically, you pregnant with another man's child. And your thigh is going to rot. What that also ties in with, get Isaiah chapter 3. God, sound like a shaman. Yeah, they get that from us. But the priest today is the man of the Lord that's doing the works of Yahweh Bashim Yahushua. Right? So what I say is be very careful, because if a brother put a curse prayer out, praying to the Lord gonna answer his prayer, you in trouble. You in trouble. Right? And there's different types of judgment. There's timing with judgment. Judgment is not always going to be instant. You know, the acts that you did, the judgment ain't going to be coming instant, not on that day. It's when you least expect it. And there's a book for that called Judges chapter 19. Right? is when you least expect it. Right? So let's get that real quick, Doc. Let's get Sirach chapter 23.
Slakia, you asked for Isaiah first, or
Oh yeah, Isaiah chapter 3.
come?
Don't let this Valentine's Lupercalia day fool you. All right? People that's following this day, they're gonna be finished. Let's get it. Isaiah chapter 3. And let's go to verse 16. Oh yeah. Yo. Isaiah 3 and 15. Bring it out.
Con, this is the book of Isaiah, chapter 3, verse 15. What mean ye that ye beat my people to pieces?
So remember what the dude said? Right? With the hammer?
Con.
Read that verse again,
Verse 15. What mean ye that ye beat my people to pieces?
See, the Lord said, what mean ye that he beat my people to pieces? Right?
Con.
He said he beat it down with the hammer. Right? We're going to get to the other part. Jump to verse 16.
Verse 16, moreover, the Lord saith, because the daughters of Zion are haughty, and walk with stretched forth necks and wanton eyes, walking and mincing as they go, and making a tinkling with their feet.
Right, means be proud as hell. Right, pompous, proud as hell. Right, now from there, jump all the way, where's it at? 17.
Verse 17. Therefore the Lord will smite with a scab the crown of the head of the daughters of Zion, and the Lord would discover their secret parts.
And the Lord would discover these harlots in their secret parts. What is that secret? What is that secret part? Jump to verse 24.
Verse 24. And it shall come to pass that instead of sweet smell, there shall be stink. And instead,
There shall be what?
There shall be stink.
Right. So down there is going to be smelling bad. Right. And that secret part is going to be smelling real bad. Right. Especially with a disease, STD, gonorrhea, AIDS. Especially nowadays, you messing with your husband, with somebody else, you don't know who you're dealing with. You don't know what type of disease that they're carrying. And some of these dudes, they messing with dudes. Some of these sisters is messing with sisters. LGBT. And what does that bring? That brings plagues, right? The cure for AIDS, Slocky, the cure for LGBT, LMNOP, ABC, gay BCs and all these damn devils, the cure for them is AIDS. That's the cure, right? The cure for those that want to sleep with other people's spouses, men want to sleep with other men, the cure for that is the plagues, because you're a disease, right? So we need a cure to get rid of you, right? And it says the smell, the sweet smell, there shall be stink, right? That's what it's talking about in Numbers chapter 5 with the rotten thigh, smelling bad down there. All because you wanted to commit adultery, fornication. Somebody said Salakia?
Oh, I'm just gonna say the same thing you just said about the what?
Huh? You said about the what?
About the what? About the stink being the same thing as the what? Yeah.
Right. Because the same way as you are on the inside, the Lord will have it manifest in the outside. All right. So let's get Genesis chapter 19. Let's get this real quick. Genesis chapter 19 and start at verse 1.
This is the book of Genesis, chapter 19, verse 1. And there came two angels to Sodom at even, and Lot sat in the gate of Sodom. And Lot, seeing them, rose up to meet them.
Right.
And
so this speaking about Sodom and Gomorrah, right?
Come on.
Same thing with America. America today, let's get Revelation chapter 11 and verse 11.
Come on.
Let's get it. Let's get it.
Revelation chapter 11 and verse 11. And after 3 days and a half, the spirit of life.
Salakia, verse 8. Verse 8.
Revelation chapter 11 and verse 8. And their dead bodies.
And their dead bodies, read on.
Shall lie in the street of the great city, which spiritually is called Sodom and Egypt.
Right. So that's America. What's the combination with America? Sodom with this trans lifestyle, LGBT, homosexual stuff, and Egypt, right? Which is them working us as slaves. This is modern Egypt today. We're working 24/7 for this damn devil, right? Now go to Judges chapter 19 and verse 1. So look at the symbology with this. Genesis chapter 19, right? The Lord sent the 2 judges, which were the angels, to destroy Sodom and Gomorrah. Now go to Genesis chapter 19. Let's lock it. Judges chapter 19 and verse 1.
Come on. This is the book of Judges, chapter 19 and verse 1. And it came to pass in those days when there was no king in Israel, that there was a certain Levite sojourning on the side of Mount Ephraim.
Right. So this was a Levite. At the moment there was no king in Israel, that means there was no rule. There was no ruler. There was no order. It was chaos. Right? Read on.
A Levite sojourning on the side of Mount Ephraim, who took him a concubine out of Bethlehem, Judah.
Right, who took him a concubine. So that means he had another wife, but she was a heathen that was a concubine. Right? Read on.
Come on. Verse 2, and his concubine played the whore against him.
His concubine did what?
Played the whore against him.
So his concubine cheated on him. Right? Played the whore against him. Read on.
And went away from him unto her father's house to Bethlehem, Judah.
Right. So she cheated on him and she had to go back to her father's house. Right. Now from there, jump all the way to verse 22. Right. So I'm going to show you what happened now. Right. Because what he did, he forgave her. That's what he did. He forgave her. Right. He went to her father's house. You know, they stood there for a couple of days. You know, her father felt so bad about the situation that happened. She basically cheated on him, right, with another man. So long story short, he forgave her, right? But, jump to verse. Yeah, go to verse 22.
Come. This verse.
So what happened now, Slocky? What happened now? They're on a journey back to his house, and they had to take a pit stop. So they had to stay at somebody else's house, right? They had to lodge there for a night, right? So where they lodged at is a lot of Benjamites. The place that they spend the night at is a lot of Benjamites in the city. And these Benjamites had the same spirit as Sodom and Gomorrah, right? Now, the Most High is cold because the Lord set this all up. A couple of months passed when she cheated on the man, and, you know, he forgave her, right? So what happens? Jump to verse 22.
Come, this verse 22. Now, as they were making their hearts merry, behold, the men of the city, certain sons of Belial, beset the house round about, and beat at the door, and spake to the master of the house, the old man, saying, bring forth the man that came into thy house, that we may know him.
Right. So they didn't even ask for the woman. They asked for the man. Same thing, like the same spirit in Sodom and Gomorrah, right? You can hear me, right?
Gone.
They asked for the man. So these are sodomites, homosexuals, right? Yeah, yeah, sis. That get back was cold as hell because it's when she least expected, right? Read on.
Come. Verse 23, and the man, the master of the house, went out unto them and said unto them, Nay, my brethren, nay, I pray you, do not so wickedly, seeing that this man is come into mine house. Do not this folly.
Right. So the man that was his house, that he was watching over the man and his concubine, his wife, he said, listen, he told the Sodomite Benjamites, hey, leave this man alone. He's a righteous man. He's a priest as well. Leave him alone. Right. The Lord put the spirit on that man to protect him, to protect the priest. Right. But look what he says. Read on.
God. Verse 24, behold, here is my daughter, a maiden, and his concubine.
And his what?
And his concubine.
So remember in Genesis 19 with Lot, when he was willing to give up his 2 daughters to the men to protect Abraham and them? Right? The exact same thing says Khan. Read on.
Khan. Behold, here is my daughter, a maiden, and his concubine. Them will I bring out now, and humble ye.
To do what?
And humble ye them, and do with them what seemeth good unto you. But
right, so these are hundreds of men, right? These are hundreds of Benjamites surrounding the place, trying to get the man, trying to get the priest. But the priest was protected. And instead, they made an exchange, right? Hold that real quick, Ak. Let's get Proverbs chapter, here we go. Proverbs chapter 21 and verse 18.
God.
Proverbs chapter 21 and verse 18. Let's get it.
This Proverbs chapter 21 and verse 18. The wicked shall be a ransom for the righteous, and the transgressor for the upright.
Read that again, King. It said what?
Proverbs chapter 21 verse 18. The wicked shall be a ransom for the righteous.
So guess what? The concubine that committed adultery and cheated on her husband, there was a swap, right? There was exchange. The wicked, which was her, will be a ransom for the righteous, because the wicked man tried to get the righteous priest, right? But instead, they exchanged the wicked woman for the righteous man, right? So he got protected, and now they literally threw her to the wolves. Because the symbol of Benjamin is the wolf. So the Levite priest got protected, but the woman that cheated on him, they threw her to the wolves, literally. Right? Go back to Judges chapter 19. And she didn't expect this, because she thought, hey, all right, so he forgave me, he forgot it, he forgave me and all of that stuff. But what you got to understand, it's not really about him. It's about 𝐤𝐿. And everything is a learning lesson, right? And all of this is scripture. All of this is experience, wisdom. Some things you got to learn the hard way. You got to learn the hard way. Like the saying goes, know them that you do good to, and also evil to as well. Right? So now let's go to Judges chapter 19. Let's go back to it again.
Come on.
And verse 25.
Come on. Verse 25. But the men would not hearken to him. So the man took his concubine and brought her forth unto them, and they knew her, and abused her all the night until the morning.
They did what?
Abused her all the night until the morning.
So they abused this woman all night until the morning. So she had hundreds of men, right? She wanted to be a thought, right? She wanted to sleep with many different men and all that stuff, wanted to cheat on her husband. So the Lord didn't forget about that. So he set up a perfect trap, right? Lull her to sleep. She don't know what's going on. The husband came back, got her back. They on a road trip and all that. Spend the night at a place, the most dangerous place. A bunch of sodomite men is around, right? And she probably thinking, "Hey, I'm good. I ain't gotta worry, because they ain't gonna be looking for me. They probably gonna be looking for him." Nah. Let's get Sirach 23 real quick.
Come.
Let's get Sirach chapter 23. You know? Sirach chapter 23 and go to verse 17.
Sirach chapter 23, verse 17.
So anybody have it say Khan?
Khan.
Khan. Bring it out, King.
Khan. All bread is sweet
I said,
to a whoremonger.
Right? All bread is sweet to a whoremonger. Read on.
He will not leave off till he die.
Right. So a dude that's smashing every damn chick. Right? He got no standards. He don't care. Right? The wicked as hell. All bread is sweet to a whoremonger. Right? He don't want to settle down, get him a rib and none of that stuff. He don't want to follow no rules. He don't want to be in a congregation. He don't want to follow order or structure. He want to be wild as hell and sleep with every damn body. That can be vice versa with the women as well. Right? He will not leave off till he die. Why? Because the Lord is going to kill him. Different scenarios, sequences, right? Read on.
John. Verse 18. A man that breaketh wedlock, saying thus in his heart, who seeth me? I am compassed about with darkness.
Right. So this is a man cheating, right? He's cheating with another person. Read on.
The walls cover me, and nobody seeth me.
Right. So this is two people, man and a woman coming together, right? The sneaky link. That's what they call it, right?
Huh.
Yeah, they got their sneaky link going on. They got their hotel, same as in Proverbs 7, right? She said the good man is away, the good husband is away. Let's have our fun, right? Read on.
So who seeth me? What need I to fear? The Most High will not remember my sins.
And that was the issue right there. She thought the Lord forgot about her sins, right? Vice versa, they can also go with the man. You know, you're supposed to be married to a sister and you treat her like a damn whore, right? You tell her all smooth things and smooth words, and we're going to be like this together, you know, I'm going to take care of you, all of this stuff. You could move with me, all of these damn lies, man. And then you break the wedlock. So now what happened? Now you want to put the sister away behind everybody's back and try to sneak off, right? Commit all type of fornications. And you think we ain't going to find out? Right? And I'm talking about all of this experience. I've seen this happen. Gone? I've seen this happen, man. Brother mess with his sister. He's supposed to be doing a courting process, supposed to wait. And now he sleep with the sister already, skipped the whole process of the courting. You know? And then now he try to divorce the sister behind our backs, behind the scenes, and try to put her away. And destroying her spirit. And now she got to build herself back up. You know? And then he's moving like a damn coward. Don't want to take no accountability or responsibility. The Lord gonna get a person like that. The Lord gonna judge a wicked nigga like that. Right? Read on.
Huh. Verse 19. Such a man only feareth the eyes of men, and knoweth not that the eyes of the Lord are 10,000 times brighter than the sun.
Right. So you're only looking at what people might see or might have an opinion.
Slack it. Y'all hear me? Hold on, I think the brother dropped off. Give him a second. Anybody got something they want to bring out to the brother get back on? I think he dropped out for a second.
Shalom, can you hear me?
Come on, I hear you now. Good.
All right. Right. So you only worry about what people might see or they might catch you in the act. Right? Now realizing that Yahweh Bashim Shah is watching you the whole time. Right? Read on.
Right. Verse where we at? Still same verse. That the Lord are 10,000 times brighter than the sun, beholding all the ways of men and considering the most secret parts.
Right. That means your secrets. Your secrets cannot be hid from the Lord. Like in Luke 12:2, what's in the darkness will come out into the light. Read on.
This is verse 20. He know all things ere ever they were created. So also after they were perfected, he looked upon them all.
Right. The Lord knows us all because he's the one that created us. Read on.
Right. Verse 21. This man shall be punished in the streets of the city.
He shall be what?
Punished in the streets of the city.
And that's what happened to Trouble, the rapper. Right? He slept with somebody else's girlfriend, and guess what? He got killed for that. Read on.
And where he suspected not, he shall be taken.
Right, where he suspected not. He didn't think that the dude would walk in and catch him in the act. Right? He got caught slipping. Read on.
Verse 22. Thus shall it go also with the wife that leaveth her husband.
Right? Same as the wife that cheated on her husband. What happens?
And bringing in an heir by another.
Right. And that ties in with Numbers chapter 5, with the belly is swollen, right? Because she cheated on her husband. So now what happens? She brings in the heir of another. That's what happened to the Edomite couple, right? Come to find out, the wife cheated on him on Valentine's Day, and she had a child, for 3 years, right? So now what happens?
Verse 23. For first, she had disobeyed the law of the Most High.
Right? She disobeyed the law of the Most High. Right? That's number one. She broke the promise. She was supposed to commit adultery or fornication. Right?
Right.
The next one.
She disobeyed the law of the Most High. And secondly, she had trespassed against her own husband.
Right? Against her own husband. That means his rules that he set up for her in the house. Right? Read on.
And thirdly, she had played the whore in adultery and brought children by another man.
Right. And this is all what happens on the day of Valentine's Day. Right? So she played the whore. She broke the commandments of the Lord, being an adulterer, fornicator. She broke the house rules that the husband already set up for her, and also him keeping the commandments, and she's breaking that too. It's supposed to be a marriage between a husband and a wife, right? Till death do them apart, right? And then she played the whore, a harlot. Did all three. Same as the man said, right? He said he was working 3 jobs, all right? And everything came in 3. So now if you go back to Judges chapter 19, Slakia, keep reading on, verse 24.
Verse 24. She shall be brought out into the congregation, and inquisition. Right. And inquisition shall be made of her children.
Right. What does that mean? They're gonna do research. They're gonna what is that? They got the detective skills and all that stuff. They're gonna try to find out who's the husband, who's the one that she cheated on with. Right? And what happened? All right, can you hear me now?
All
right.
Slakia.
Yeah, go ahead, King.
as you were saying, when they said an inquisition, they basically gonna inquire on her.
They're gonna inquire, diligent search, right? You're gonna find out who's the baby daddy.
Con.
Or vice versa, who's the baby mama? You don't?
Con, this verse 25. Her children shall not take root, and her branches shall be brought forth no fruit.
Right. Do any of y'all know what that means?
Slovakia.
Go ahead, sis.
Is that going into where like the inheritance? They can't get the inheritance if it's not. Never mind. I have to understand. Never mind.
Yeah, you said they can't get the inheritance?
I was thinking of a case where the identity of who the father was they couldn't find out who the father was, so the kids couldn't get the inheritance that they needed or they were trying to get. But I think I have the wrong understanding.
You ever heard of the story of Achan? Right. Let me show you what happens. Get Revelation chapter 2. Revelation chapter 2 and verse 20.
Come.
Revelation chapter 2 and verse 20.
There's Revelation chapter 2. Revelation chapter 2, verse 20. Notwithstanding, I have a few things against thee, because thou sufferest that woman Jezebel, which calleth herself a prophetess, to teach and to seduce my servants to commit fornication.
Right. So it's speaking about the spirit of Jezebel that runs around rampant, especially on Valentine's Day. Right? Read on.
To commit fornication and to eat things sacrificed unto idols.
What is that also tying in with? On Valentine's Day, what do they prefer? What do people give people as gifts?
Go ahead. Oh, I plan to say chocolate.
And what is that sacrifice? As unto idols. They sacrificing unto Pan. They sacrificing unto Cupid. Sacrificing unto all these false Greek gods and Roman gods. Right? Same as with Christmas. No, Slocky. Same as, Christmas with the gingerbread and all that stuff. Same as with Thanksgiving with the turkey and all of that. Right? On Valentine's Day, right? Somebody's giving you a box of chocolate. Valentine's Day, you eat it. That's part of you taking in that celebration. Sacrificing unto their idol gods. Right? So now what happens? This is what Yahushua was talking about. Jump to verse 23. This is what happened to her children in Sirach 23. Bring it out.
Back to Sirach 23.
No, Revelations 2 and 23.
Oh, 2 and 23. Verse 23. And I will kill her children with
death. He will what?
I will kill her children with
That's
death.
What he's talking about. Read on.
I will kill her children with death. And all the churches shall know that I am he which searches the reins and hearts. And I will give unto every one of you according to your works.
Right. He said, I will give unto every one of you according to your works. Now go back to Judges chapter 19. Right? So he said, I'm going to kill your children. Why? Because those children was made off of adultery.
God.
Right? Them children was made off of adultery. What do you think happened with David? When David slept with Bathsheba, what happened to that firstborn child?
Salakia.
There, sis.
They were killed.
God. You see, that's part of the laws. The law had no respect to persons, even with David. Killed that child. Right? But then the Lord had mercy on David after, because of the works that David did for Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua. But that child was dead. He killed him. Same thing as Yahushua was saying in Revelation chapter 2. Right? So now go back to Judges chapter 19. All right, let's get it. Judges chapter 19, and let's go to verse 26. So what happened to the concubine in Judges 19? She cheated on her husband, and she thought she was going to get away with it. And now she basically got, later on, a couple of months later, she got set up and trapped and got gang raped. That's what happened, to death. Right? So Judges chapter 19 and verse 26.
Fine, this Judges chapter 19, verse 26. Then came the woman in the dawning of the day and fell down at the door of the man's house where her Lord was till it was light.
Right? Read on.
Till it was light. Verse 27.
Jump to verse 28. Slack it, verse 28.
Come, verse 28. And he said unto her, Up, and let us be going. But none answered. Then the man took her up upon an ass, and the man rose up and gat him unto his place.
Right. So he found out the concubine died because she got raped to death. That's basically what happened. Right? Now listen to what this man, let's see. Found out.
Salakia.
Yes, sis.
I just noticed what happens in 29 is the exact same thing that God said he was gonna do to his girlfriend when he found him.
God. Shalom, can you give me the host back? Kick me out real quick. All right. What you said, sis?
And I said what happens in 29 is the exact same thing that God said he was gonna do after he had hit her in the head. What he said he was gonna do is exactly.
Yeah, that's why I wanted to play that part. So, like I said, with this video, it's showing you, even with the Bible, the scriptures, it lines right back up. Right? So with her committing that adultery, it lines right back up. And all of that was judgment. That's how you know this was a spirit of jealousy. All right. Let's see. Okay. Khan says, Easter bunny, eggs, Ishtar, same goddess of fertility. And it's also time with Lupercalia, because what they would do, they would whip their backs with goat skin. And the reason why they would do that, so they could increase the fertility in the woman. But that would never work. That was basically like a BDSM, or, Esau wicked as hell. Yeah, Esau. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I don't mean to go off topic real quick. You're bringing out a mighty lesson, Thawadah King. But earlier you was playing that video and it said it was 3 different versions. I was just curious what the other 2 versions was.
Yeah, we're gonna go through that as well. Let me just play this video real quick, right? Read the next, matter of fact, let me get that.
And after this, I'm putting this on the internet. I'm going down to the police station and tell them, yes, I bust that bitch in the head with a hammer, and I threw the goddamn radio in the goddamn tail because they deserved it. God damn it. I can't believe this shit. Practice field. Think I'm playing, man. I worked too goddamn hard for this. The goddamn nigga thought he just was gonna get up out of there, so I bust him in his motherfucking head with a hammer. He fell in the bathtub, and I threw the goddamn radio in the tub. He in there burnt up now.
So he bust him in the head with the hammer, knocked him out unconscious, threw him in the tub with the water, and then put the radio in there, and guess what? It electrocuted him to death. All right? That's why I say he's burnt. That's part of judgment.
All you women out here fucking around on y'all's man, you dirty ass bitches, you ain't no good, you need to be killed. God damn it. And after this, I'm putting this on the internet. I'm going down to the police station and tell them, yes, I bust that naked, man. Got my bitch up on the sink, motherfucking cat tool joint. You cheating ass bitches out there. Don't fuck around and let your man catch you. You go fuck around and get busted your goddamn head with a hammer.
I agree the next verse, man. Jeez.
Come on. Which one? Verse 1.
Yeah.
And when he was come into his house, he took a knife and laid hold on his concubine and divided her, together with her bones, into 12 pieces.
All right, hold it right there. Hold it right there. Right? Now check this.
To my motherfucking ass, man. I've been taking care of this girl since she was 19, man.
Since she was what?
Since she was 19.
What chapter we reading now?
29. I mean, now chapter 19. Come on.
God. Can't make this up, man.
We've been living together. I got 3 motherfucking jobs, man. I ain't never fooled around on or none of that, man. I come home from work tonight, and I knew
I'm looking for the one where he says he's gonna cut her up.
I've been taking care of this. You know, I stick the key in the door. First parked in the driveway. I hear goddamn bad, man. It's a man standing my motherfucking candles and shit. I backed away, man. I busted the door, and I bust that bitch in her motherfucking head with this motherfucking hammer.
Yeah.
Now this is to all you cheating ass bitches out there. Don't fuck around and let your man catch you. You go fuck around and get busted in your goddamn head with a hammer. Her goddamn ass laying goddamn in the garage right now. I'm about to cut this bitch up, put her in the trunk.
There you go. Read that verse again, all right?
Con. Verse 29, and when he was coming to his house, he took a knife and laid hold on his concubine and divided her, together with her bones, into 12 pieces.
Right, so he cut her up into pieces, 12 pieces, which symbolizes the 12 tribes of Israel. Right? So the same thing as with this video, same thing as with these scriptures. Right? Now let's get back to this one.
The Valentine's Day. Before II, who had banned marriages throughout the country. According to him, single men were to remain single because he believed they were better soldiers than those with wives and families. Saint Valentine, realizing the injustice of this decree, decided to act against the emperor and secretly married young lovers.
Right, so if you see today, Joe Biden, I think it was 2 weeks ago, he declared marriages with homosexuals and also interracial marriage, right? But Claudius, he didn't want the men to marry, but he had no issue with Lupercalia, which is Valentine's Day, where people cheating on each other, sleeping around with everybody, right? So what St. Valentine did is that he made the marriages between the man and the woman, right? Like the Lord has said in Hebrews 13:4, marriage is honorable, right? And St. Valentine was an Israelite, right?
The emperor finally found out. He ordered that Valentine be put to death.
Right. So version 1, he ordered that Valentine be put to death. So what he did to Valentine, get Revelation chapter 2 and verse 10.
Come.
quick. Revelation chapter 2 and verse 10.
Upon this Revelation chapter 2 and verse 10. Fear none of those things which thou shalt suffer. Behold, the devil shall cast some of you into prison, that ye may be tried, and ye shall have tribulation 10 days. Be thou faithful unto death,
You are?
and I will give thee a crown of life.
Right. So if you look at the screen, what's the story behind Valentine's Day? Less about love and more about a bloodbath. Right? So let's go on. There are multiple Saint Valentine in history. Historical origins of the figure are shaky, with some believing that he was a myth for worship, while others believe he was a real person. A Roman saint from the 3rd century, Valentine the Attorney, was thrown into jail for secretly marrying couples against the wishes of the Emperor Claudius II. To put forth an edict banning marriages for military personnel. The emperor believed that marriage would distract his military and make them less efficient on the battlefield. Right? So the man got arrested and got put in jail for having a man marry a wife. That's basically what it was. Right? But today, Joe Biden, he'll put the law that you can have homosexual marriages and interracial marriages. Right? So the man St. Valentine was keeping the law. Right? Man and a wife, like the Lord said, be fruitful and multiply. Right? Man could marry a wife. Right? Have a happy marriage, as you would say. Right? His jailer, a man named Asterius, taunted Valentine the Attorney about his supposed powers as a Catholic priest, say he should make his daughter Julia, who was born blind, be able to see again. So he's speaking about him, trying to heal the blind and the sick and the poor. Right? So what happened to him? It said, read Revelation chapter 2, verse 10 again. Revelation chapter 2 and verse 10.
Revelation chapter 2, verse 10. Fear none of those things which thou shalt suffer. Behold, the devil shall cast some of you into prison, that ye may be tried, and ye shall have tribulation 10 days.
Right? You shall have tribulations 10 days. Read on.
Be thou faithful unto death, and I will give thee a crown of life.
Right. So basically what he was a martyr. Now jump to verse 13.
Verse 13. I know thy works, and where thou dwellest, even where Satan's seat is, and thou holdest fast my name, and hast not denied my faith, even in those days wherein Antipas was my faithful martyr, who was slain among you.
Right? So Antipas, a martyr that was slain among the people. Right? He was also the saint. So all the saints were Israelites. Saint Valentine, Saint Patrick, Saint Nicholas, those are all Israelites. Right? And these saints in those times was being put in martyrdom, as you would say. So he was locked up in prison. That's why the Lord said, be thou faithful unto death. Right? And he was locked up for righteousness. All right, so let's go back to the video real quick.
The next version, which is the most popular version, is said during the era of Christian persecution in Rome, when a man named Valentine helped a lot of Christians escape the Roman prison, was later caught and put in prison.
Right, so he helped his people escape the prisons. Let's get Isaiah chapter 61.
God, Slakia.
Go ahead, Doc.
You saw that menorah back there?
God, let's
In
get
the
to it real
video?
quick. Ah, there you go, right there. Y'all can see the screen?
Con.
God. Right? That's Israel. All right, let's get it. Isaiah chapter 61. And let's go to verse 1.
This is the book Isaiah chapter 61 and verse 1. The Spirit of the Lord God is upon me, because the Lord hath anointed me to preach good tidings unto the meek. He has sent me to bind up the brokenhearted, to proclaim liberty to the captives.
To do what?
To proclaim liberty to the captives.
And that's what St. Valentine did. Right? See what it said again.
Valentine be put to death. The next version, which is the most popular version, is set during the era of Christian persecution in Rome, when a man named Valentine.
Right, and the ones that were persecuted in Rome, it said Christian persecution. Right? That's speaking about Israel. Right? Ezekiel chapter 35 and verse 1 on down, where it talks about Esau pursuing blood and persecuting the saints, persecuting the Israelites. Right? Because he pursued blood, which is us. He's killing us. Like in Genesis chapter 27. He made a promise unto his parents, right? That he's going to chase after Jacob to this day and try to slaughter him. All right, so
helped a lot of Christians escape the Roman prison, was later caught and put in prison. While in prison, Valentine fell in love with the daughter of his jailer, who was initially blind, but after praying for her, she regained her sight. It was said that the night before his execution, Valentine gave her a letter, which was signed from your Valentine.
Right, so the same customs that people's following today, you know, with the love letters, right? And talk about, you know, dear Valentine, you know, truly yours, Valentine. That's part of the custom that was kept in those times, right?
The very first Valentine that gave birth to what we know today. In contrast to the second version, the third version says that while in prison, Valentine sent letters to the emperor trying to convert him to Christianity, but failed after several attempts. Angered by this, the emperor issued him an ultimatum to either give up his faith and gain his freedom or die.
Right, so he told him to convert. Let's get 2 Maccabees chapter 6.
God.
Second Maccabees chapter 6, and let's go to verse 1. The emperor wanted him to give up his faith, as him being an Israelite, keeping the commandments, and the faith of Yahweh 𝐻OI, but he wouldn't do it. So let's get 2 Maccabees chapter 6 and verse 1. And that also ties in Revelation chapter 2. The Lord said, be thou faithful unto death. Right? And I will give you a crown of life. Bring it out, okay?
2 Maccabees chapter 6, verse 1. Not long after this, the king sent an old man of Athens to compel the Jews to depart from the laws of their fathers and not to live after the laws of God.
Right. So he tried to make them give up on Yahweh 𝐻OI. Right? Read on.
Verse 2. And to pollute also the temple in Jerusalem, and to call it the temple of Jupiter.
Right. Jupiter pertaining to the Greek gods. Right? You have from the Greeks to the Romans. They have Jupiter, you got Uranus, you got Mars, the god of war, you know, Venus, goddess of love. Right? The same one as Venus is also pertaining to the Romans as Aphrodite. Right? The same one as Mars, the god of war for the Athenians, also tie in with Aries. Right? Read on.
To call it the temple of Jupiter, Olympius, and that charism of Jupiter, the defender of strangers, as they did desire that dwelt in the place.
Now jump to verse 6.
This is verse 6. Neither was it lawful for a man to keep Sabbath days or ancient feasts, or to profess himself at all to be a Jew.
Right. So they rather have you celebrate Lupercalia instead of keeping the feast of dedication or the feast of new moon or the feast of Purim. Right? Now jump to verse 9.
Con, this verse 9. And whoso would not conform themselves to the manners of the Gentiles should be put to death.
Right. So that's what he wanted. Claudius wanted Valentine to basically give up his nationality, give up his religion of him being a Hebrew Israelite, right? And he wanted him to follow the ways of 𝐤𝐄𝐄 or Valentine's Day, right? He said, if you don't do it, you'll get put to death. So what happened with St. Valentine, you know, he had to get put to death. But he was a martyr. He didn't give up his faith. He broke away the prisoners that was imprisoned. He got locked up, right? But he still held on unto death, right? So that's right.
When Valentine refused, he was executed. The next and final version for today is the 𝐤𝐿upercalia, which is a more darker version of the origin story. It was described as a pagan practice and worship bestowed upon Faunus, the ancient Roman god of the harvest, agriculture, and fertility.
See, Faunus was the ancient god of Roman agriculture, right? And fertility. Let's deal with fertility. Let's get Job chapter 27 and verse 13.
Come.
Let's get that real quick. Right? Because put this real quick. Where is it at? Caucasian people birth rate. Caucasian women birth rate. Because they always, Esau himself always had a problem, especially the Edomite woman. They always had a problem with getting pregnant. Right? So they would do some weird stuff just to increase their fertility so they could be able to get pregnant. Let's see. People. All right, here we go. All right, here it is. Fertility rates in the United States by ethnicity. All right, other than being one of the most prominent ethnic groups in the country, non-Hispanic whites had one of the lowest fertility rates in 2018. Over 60%, 60.7% of the country's population was non-Hispanic whites, right? The total fertility rate of the non-Hispanic whites has been decreasing from 2014, right? Let's get Job chapter 27 and 13.
Con, this book of Job, chapter 27, verse 19. The rich man shall lie down, but he...
Slakia, verse 13. Verse 13.
Oh, verse 13, Con. Job 27, verse 13. This is the portion of a wicked man with God, and the heritage of oppressors, which they shall receive of the Almighty.
Read on.
Verse 14. If his children be multiplied, it is for the sword.
Right. So they have a problem with fertility, right? The Edomite woman. It's hard for them to have babies. So what they would do, what Esau basically did, is two things: homosexual marriages, and that's aimed towards who? The blacks and Hispanics, right? And then also interracial marriages. That's aimed towards who? To destroy the black and Hispanic community and also grow the numbers of the Edomite community. Right? That's why they got that movie Get Out, where the Edomite wanted the body of the so-called black man. Right? So he want to be us, look like us, but he don't want to deal with the curses like us. Also, he could be what? Population control, so he can grow his birth rates while he could destroy ours. So the LGBT is used as a weapon against us to destroy our numbers. so that they can help grow their birth rates. If any of y'all seen that movie, the Avatar 2? Y'all seen that movie? Yeah, if you see it in the movie, you see when the Edomite, he had a new body, the same Edomite in part 1, that was the killer, the sergeant, right? So in part 2 of the movie, Avatar 2, he came back again, you know, they took his mind and put it in a new body, and is in a body of the avatars. You know, the one with the all blue, he's tall and strong and everything, but he still has his mind as an Edomite. So now he's happy. He's like, man, we back again, and guess what? We're just like them. We're strong just like them, you know, but we still have our mentality. So now we're behind enemy lines, and now we can destroy them from within. That's where you got that parable with the wheat and the tares, right? Where Esau sowed his seed all throughout, and it caused confusion. So today you got chocolate covered Edomites. Look like us, probably even speak like us, but they're Edomites, right? But some of them you could never tell until you ask them about their father, who's their father, or their nationality, right? So Esau want to be like us, but he also hate us because he's not us. And he don't want to go through the curses. But now the Lord is reversing all the roles. So now he's suffering the curses, which is in Deuteronomy chapter 30:7. The Lord going to put the curses on him, take it off of us, and we're going to start to raise up for our kingdom while he's starting to get put down into hell for his hell. Right? We're going up and he's going down. Right? So they had an issue with birth rates. They always did. So now what happens? Go ahead, sis. I guess, sis.
I was just gonna say, I was talking to the ladies about this today, about how Joe Biden said the biggest problem that they're facing now is the fact that their race in a couple of years is going to be extremely diminished. Because with their censors, they've been cheating on their censors for years, having Latinos and other races mixed in, saying, oh yeah, this is the white population, when really we've been the majority. They've been the minority. It's just it's so obvious now. But I yield.
And it's the one you was talking about. Records on the race.
So there's a second thing in that black box: an unrelenting stream of immigration, non-stop. Folks like me who were Caucasian of European descent, for the first time in 2017, will be in an absolute minority in the United States of America.
All praises. Right? That was 2017, I think. So they becoming the minority. So look at what's happening right now, 2023. They are becoming the minority. Right? So let's get Jeremiah chapter 44 and verse 19. Quick precept pertaining to their Edomite women and their fertility, right? So what they would do, they would sacrifice unto heathen gods, like Faunus. And Faunus also ties in, show you right here. There we go. So like I said, Faunus, god of forest, plain fields, and when he made cattle fertile, he was called Enos, right? Equated to religious Greek god Pan. So the same one that they call Faunus is also tying in with Pan, right? Pan, the Greek god, and Pan like Baphomet. So let's get Jeremiah chapter 44, and let's get to verse 19.
This is Jeremiah, you said Jeremiah 44, right?
Jeremiah chapter 44 and verse 19.
Jeremiah chapter 44, verse 19. And when we burned incense to the Queen of Heaven and poured out drink offerings unto her, did we make her cakes to worship her and pour out drink offerings unto her without our men.
Right. So why did I bring out this precept? Because it also tied with Semiramis. Semiramis, they also called her Aphrodite. right? So same as with Pan, Aphrodite, Faunus, right? They're all working together. It's just from the Greek to the Roman customs. It's all the same people. And that also ties back into Nimrod, right? Nimrod and Semiramis. So Aphrodite being a goddess of love, sexual love and beauty, that also ties in with Valentine's Day, right? So that's what he's talking about, who's the queen of heaven. But now today, if you look at it, Beyonce, the ritual, Ramis, right? Queen of heaven. So now if you look at it today, also tying with the paganism, y'all see the screen, right? So they would have Beyonce as a modern day queen of heaven. Same exact thing, symbology and all. And then you go back from here. Here we go right here. The Babylonian customs. Tying in with Semiramis. They also call her the Queen of Heaven. And then now, also tying in with Goddess of Fertility. There we go, Aphrodite as a goddess of fertility. Right? And this one right here, this one is crazy. See?
Is that where they get the eggs?
Yeah. Disguise it as breasts. That's for Easter. And they put it as Ishtar.
Slakia, go up. I seen something. I was gonna ask, what is that?
There you go. You see this?
Oh yeah, Khan.
And then right under, they got the goats. Same exact thing.
Right. What's that one on top? Scroll up.
Which one?
Scroll up a little more. Yeah, the one that you brought out with the egg right under that. Which one is that joint?
This one?
No, the one in the middle. You gotta scroll up a little bit more. Right there. See the one that you brought? Yeah, under it. What is that?
Yeah, that's the same one, just in a different position.
Okay, Khan.
Yeah. Same thing tying with this one right here.
Oh, damn, they turned it to a fountain.
Yeah. Right? All right, now let's go back to this video real quick.
Pagan practice and worship bestowed upon Faunus, the ancient Roman god of the harvest, agriculture, and fertility. This festival was conducted among its followers as a rite of passage, done annually every 15th of February, specially performed by certain priests named Luperci. It involved animal sacrifices, mainly goats and dogs.
Right, so when it's talking about Luperci or Lupercus, which they get it from Lupercalia, right? This is what they mean by Luperci. Here we go. All right, so it says Lupercus was a god in Roman mythology. Lupercus was a protector of the farmers, harvesting a pack of wild animals. Right, every year on the 15th, in honor of him, the Romans held the Lupercalia. Right, that was in honor of Lupercus. Right, ancient Italian god worshipped by shepherds as the promoter of fertility in sheep and protector of flocks. He helped the she-wolf take care of Romulus and Remus. If y'all don't know, Romulus and Remus was the founding fathers of Rome and the Roman Empire, right? Y'all can see the screen, right? So now watch this. It says, and he helped the she-wolf, right? That's a wolf, a female wolf. Take care of Ramalis and Remus. This is why Lupercalia was celebration that helped pregnant women. Lupicus is sometimes identified with the god Pan. So now check this. The same one that they call Lupicus, he's also called Pan, and he's called Faunus. So what Esau does, he causes confusion. He'll switch the names, but he's speaking about the same type of deities. So now, why is this very important? Because look what this damn Lupicus.
Slaki.
Go ahead,
One more time. You said Pan ties in with what?
With Lupicus and Faunus.
Okay, con.
Right? So they're all the same. Right? So now check this. Lupicus. Let's see. So the reason why they said Lupicus protected she-wolf, because Lupicus was a symbology of like a werewolf god. Right? Or a wolf god. That's basically what he was. Right? So let me get this part right here. All right, here we go. The twins, they speak about Ramus and Remus, right? Ramalis or Remus. It says the twins were later adopted by a shepherd and his wife and learned their father's trade. After killing the uncle who ordered their death, they found the cave den of the she-wolf, who nurtured them and named it Lupercal. It's thought Lupercalia took place to honor the she-wolf and please the Roman fertility god Lupercus, right? So this is talking about the she-wolf. Now, pertaining to the she-wolf, let's get Job chapter 20. Let's get Job chapter 30. So he's talking about Esau dealing with dogs, or wolves, or dogs, as you would say, or animals.
Slaki.
Go ahead,
This wouldn't be the same thing as when the I believe in the scriptures when they speak on the jackal.
No, not that one.
Okay,
this the one.
This kind of different, right?
Yeah, this one with Esau and the dogs.
Con.
Right. So check this. Let's. All right, here it is. So this is the infamous statue right here that they're talking about, where Romulus and Remus, right? And this is pertaining to Esau. Y'all see the screen, right? Right. So this pertaining to Esau, pertaining to Rome and the founding fathers, these two brothers right here, Romulus and Remus, or Romulus and Remus. So let's get Job chapter 30. And start at verse 2.
This Job chapter 30, verse 2. Yea, whereto might the strength of their hands profit me, and whom old age was perished.
Let's see. Slock it. Start at verse 1. Start at verse 1.
Job chapter 30, verse 1. But now they that are younger than I have me in derision, whose fathers I would have disdained to have set with the dogs of my flock.
So Job was saying he wouldn't let these Edomites near his dogs, right? Because he know their nature. So this is Romulus and Remus basically being fed by a damn she-wolf or a wolf. Ties in like a dog, right? Now let me get Psalms chapter 22 and verse 16. And there's no wonder why these Edomites be having sex with the animals. Psalms chapter 22, and let's go to verse 16.
Shalaki.
Go ahead, Doc.
Having sex with the animals is natural, baby.
Yeah, yeah. That's why Esau say he an animal, right? Yeah, it's natural, all right.
It's in their nature, baby.
Yeah, it's in their nature. That's why they love nature. But check this out. White woman. Yay.
What you asked for? Psalm 22?
Yeah, Psalms 22 and 16. Right? So Rome was founded by Romulus and Remus, and it was raised up by dogs, wolves. Dog.
They just call that dog mama.
Yeah, that's their little sister. Yeah, I think they took down the video with the chick that said that she smelled like a dog, man.
Yo, those dudes was sucking on that dog's tit, man. Drinking dog's milk. Imagine that. You grow up sucking on the tit of a dog. Of course you're gonna want to have sex with animals. That's your first love.
Yeah. See, your parent.
Like notice the scent. One who came up with dogs being man's best friend.
Right. Yeah, that was him.
Sure.
Well, that was him. That was the quote that he had. Right. He made that quote. Smell. And they even got the questions on Google. It says, why do white people smell like dog? Yeah, I wonder why.
You know, that's a powerful question you just put there, King. You know,
So
imagine so when you are a baby and you drink the first milk from your mother, that milk has a whole lot of things in it to help you and protect you growing up, you know, help you not be like sickly, but help you to be strong and things like that. A lot of hormones. So drinking the dog's milk is putting all kind of stuff from the dog in them, which is probably affecting their sweat gland and all of that stuff as well.
God, and his DNA is a transferring of DNA. And all the nutrients that's getting from the dog is transferring of DNA. All right. Quick thing. It says, why white people smell like wet dogs? Do the races smell different? A relative told me that many whites say that blacks smell bad. He would say that they are called stink bugs by some Hispanics here in California. I said I have been around black people most of my life, including black girlfriends, black best friends who I hung out with every day. It's not really known what blacks smell like to those who say they are stink. Some say they smell like sweat or onions, but a lot say they just smell foul stink, period. There's also evidence. Let me see. Looking for it. All right, here we go. Why do white people smell like dogs? So that's the question that they put up. Right? White people smell like dogs. Somebody said Salakia?
I did.
Go ahead, sis.
What did Jacob use for his skin to feel like Esau's skin?
Are you talking about when it was hairy?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
He used goat hairs.
Yeah.
That's why he smells like a dog. He smells
And the
like
thing
a
with
field
that,
animal.
yeah, go ahead, sis.
I was just saying he smells like a field animal.
Yeah, because he's a man of the field, like in
Exactly.
Genesis 27. Right? He smelled like outside, he smelled like the grass. while Jacob's skin was smooth. Right? While Jacob's skin was smooth. And it's funny, they said we smell like, they said we look like monkeys. Well, nah, you Edomites look like these damn monkeys, flat lip and all of that, climbing on damn walls and caves and mountains and all of this stuff. Right?
And how black people and white people inherently have different scents. That's racist. And so dogs, when they sense a different scent, so like if a black family has a dog, when they get around white people, they can get agitated and bark, and vice versa. It doesn't sound that crazy when I say it, but when the people sitting at the table next to us overheard him being like, well, you see, black people and white people smell different. That's racist. It sounded...
Yeah. It might come off as racist, but I think he's on to something here, because I've often said that white people smell like wet dogs.
Damn. Damn. Right, let's get the other one. Bring what you got, Ak.
Ebro, huh?
Huh?
That was Ebro.
Yeah, Ebro in the morning.
Con.
He said white people smell like wet dogs, and now we know why.
Con.
Let's get it. Let's get Psalms 22 and 16.
Con, the book of Psalms, chapter 22 and verse 16. For dogs have compassed me. The assembly of the wicked have enclosed me. They pierced my hands and my feet.
Right. So this is David prophesying about Yahushua getting crucified on the cross. And Yahushua was saying the dogs have compassion. That's speaking about the Romans. The Romans were the Edomites. Right. So Yahushua was calling them the dogs. Right. And if anybody knew about Esau, it definitely had to be Yahushua. Right. So with them, with the bestiality. Right. Let's get Leviticus chapter 20.
Verse 15.
God.
It also included sex, violence, drunkenness, and all form of immorality. It is true that Valentine's Day borrows certain symbols from Lupercalia, such as the color red, which represents a blood sacrifice, and the color white, which signifies rebirth and procreation.
Right. So February, February, is basically called a month of purification. Right? Purifying. Right? And that's why it's a month of a lot of killings. Right? Because in the eyes of Esau, he's trying to get rid of, black people, diseases, all of this stuff. That's how he looks at it. Right? He's looking at us like we the problem. So now they have all of this, how you would say, shots. Right? Or get your vax shot. And then Joe Biden talking about, I feel like the blacks and Hispanics, they need it more than everybody else. They should get their shots first. That's their way of trying to purify. Basically try to get rid of us. Right? So bring what you got,
There's Leviticus chapter 20 and verse 15. And if a man lie with a beast, he shall surely be put to death.
Right.
And ye shall slay the beast.
Right. So he didn't just lie with the beast. He was raised by one. Right. And now the gods that they serve is like Lupercus and like Pan. So let's check this out about Pan. Pan. Let's see. So this right here is Pan, the Greek god of the wild.
Lock it.
Go ahead,
you clicked it, but if you went back one, you see the images, right?
Yeah.
Scroll down a little bit, right there. There you go. That image, the other one, the first image, right? That was the same one that Beyonce had, right? Recently.
Yeah, with the Baphomet, with the horns and everything.
Con.
Yeah, because that tie in as well. All this goes back to Nimrod. Him being a hunter. Same with Lupercus. Lupercus was a hunter. right? Same thing as pertaining to Nimrod, a mighty hunter.
Yeah, that's deep. I that's new to me. I never looked at it like that, but now that you say it, makes a lot of sense that he was a hunter.
Yeah, same with Esau. Esau being a hunter. Genesis 25 and 27, a cunning hunter. So Lubricus was also a hunter. He was called a wolf god as well, right? So if you look at Pan, Pan is the god of wild shepherds and flocks, rustic music, impromptus, and companions of the nymph. So what is it also with Pan? It promotes sexuality, right? So now what it also promotes, nymph. So nymph is an ancient Greek folklore and a minor female nature deity, right? Nymph are like people that have, how you would call it?
Promiscuity?
Promiscuity, right? And that also ties in with prostitution, right? Sleeping with all different type of people, different type of spouses, as you would say.
Shalaki.
Go ahead, Doc.
Yeah, that's where you get the name nymphomaniac. Right?
Yeah, you a maniac, guy.
Nymphomaniac.
Mad woman. Huh?
Yeah, you could pull up the meaning of that name, nymphomaniac.
God. Let's get it real quick. All right, here we go. Nymphomaniac, one affected by nymphomania, a female who has an excessive desire for sexual activity. Right? Excessive desire. So what you become? You're burning your lust, you can't control yourself, you're burning in your desire, you're sleeping with everyone. Right? That's like a harlot, that's like a whore. Right? Let's see. Yeah, nymphomaniac. All right, let's get back to this one real quick. So it says Pan, and companion of the nymphs, he had the hindquarters, legs, and horns of a goat, in the same manner as fawn, right? So like I was saying earlier, Pan ties in with fawn. And satire, which is like a demonic lust demon, right? So they all have the same spirits. With his homeland in rustic Arcadia, he is also recognized as the god of fields, groves, wooded glens, and often affiliated with sex. Right? So it's the same thing. Pan is connected to fertility and a season of spring. So all of these tie in with the same thing pertaining to from the transition of Christmas to New Year's Day with the pagan god Janus to now with February, Valentine's Day. And then even lining that up to what? Easter, right? Which also ties in with Semiramis again. So these are all the pagan Greek customs lining up back and back. All right. And it also goes back again to Nimrod and Semiramis. Same exact thing. And look, for Pan, Paris was Aphrodite and Hermes. All right. Let's get back to this one. What scripture you got, Ak?
I got I still had Leviticus
20 and verse 15, right?
Yeah,
Right. So like I was talking about with Pan, tying that in with bestiality. Look at this. There we go.
He did eventually meet Ken, who shares her sexual preference.
Oh, he was
grab a couple handfuls of that smaller stuff.
Okay.
There. I'll get some of this. I was technically a virgin until I was 29 years old. I was a zoo.
I like to suck on him orally, and
to watch this.
What?
my pants are down and I'm bending over. Kind of wanted to do the
through a zoo friend on the internet. After a few weeks, they arranged their first date.
well, the first night that he came up to visit me, I took him down to the barn to introduce him to some of my horses and some of the other horses that I enjoyed at the barn. And I took him in and introduced him to my miniature stallion. And kind of, I don't know if it was subconscious, kind of, I was very nervous and kind of wanted to do the shock factor, as it were. My miniature stallion was dropped and masturbating. When his penis is dropped and he slaps it on his belly, they call that masturbation for stallions. And so one thing led to another and I couldn't resist, so I bent down and started sucking on him.
Yo.
Wait a minute. Slakia.
Yeah, man.
Remember that one video you brought out with the dude
Yeah.
with the pig?
Yeah.
Talking about he couldn't find himself a wife, so he just went ahead and
Man.
did his thing with the swine.
God damn. She said she couldn't resist and just went down on a damn horse, man.
Right? That's crazy. Look,
It's
they put
Esau.
scriptures. They put scriptures in there.
Oh, yeah, they got. Oh, wow. Yeah, there you go. This is Esau, man. This is these Edomites. The same. And look at this guy. You could tell. This man been sleeping with Airbud, man. You can tell, man. All right? These are these Edomites. They're sick freaks.
Yo, Shalaki, yo.
Go ahead, all right.
And do you know why they do these interviews?
So it could seem okay.
So they could really, like, because they know they're not the only
ones.
This stuff. They're trying to create a community.
Calm.
So when it goes out and other people who are into that sick shit, they come together. Birds of a feather, right?
Flock together.
Like the scripture tells you, a cage of all manner of sick birds, wicked birds. They're all the birds of a feather flock together, man.
Nah. And this is that the community that they got, the zoophilia. The furry, bestiality type community. That's what they have.
Done.
And this is all in Babylon. All right? This is all what happens on Lupercalia that they don't talk about. Let's get back to this. Jeez.
This practice was later Christianized by Pope Gelasius in the 5th century AD. He changed the practice for good and declared February 14th as a day to celebrate the martyrdom of Saint Valentine. This set the bedrock for modern-day Valentine celebration.
So this is talking about Saint Valentine, right? And also tying it with the history about Lupercalia. Let me get one more.
This mistake is costing Amazon Prime shoppers big. Are you still using Prime? Because
The Lupercalia was an ancient Roman festival which took place on the 15th of February around the Palatine Hill in Rome. Its main ingredients included blood,
Right? Blood sacrifice. Like what happened in the Satanic Grammys, and then also with that Super Bowl commercial with Rihanna. Right?
milk, flour, salt, and wool, and some curious whips made
And some curious whips. Right?
out of goat skin. The proceedings began at the cave called the Lupercal. This was the spot where the she-wolf was said to have nourished Romulus and Remus. On the day of the Lupercalia, a group of chosen men and boys assembled at the cave. These were the Luperci, an ancient priestly brotherhood. Things got going with an animal sacrifice. A goat,
All right, they got to make an animal sacrifice. All right,
maybe more than one, and sometimes a dog too.
and sometimes a dog. But which one you think Esau's gonna prefer first?
That dog.
Hell no. I'm talking about like the sacrifice.
Oh, God. You gonna get the goat?
God, Esau ain't killing no dog, man.
Man,
He ain't killing his dog, man.
God, slack ya.
Hell no. Good, all right. You said Salaki?
Nah, I was saying, nah.
Yeah,
Somebody
Esau.
just put their bestie.
God, that's his bestie. But the two goats he killing. But he ain't killing his dog, man. Right?
The animals were sprinkled with mola salsa, a mixture of flour and salt that was made by the Vestal virgins for use in Roman rituals. Then they were killed, and a knife was dipped in their blood before being passed over the foreheads of two of the young men. The blood was wiped off with wool soaked in milk. The goats' hides were then taken off and cut into strips. Some of these were used as loincloths for the luperci, but others were made into whips.
Right? So they took the goat hides, right, like leather, stuff like that, and turned it into whips. Right?
Then there was a big feast. After the feast, the luperci left the cave.
Right? So they basically it was rolling around naked. That's basically what it was. And look what they was doing.
Ran around the Palatine wearing their goatskin loincloths and waving their goatskin whips. As they ran, they lashed out at people who had gathered for the occasion. The goatskin whips were thought to bring fertility, so the crowd included women who wanted to become pregnant.
Right. So in order for the woman to get pregnant, what they would have to do is whip the woman. Basically beat the women. Right? That's how they operated. So if you wanted your wife to get pregnant, if she was barren, and Abraham wanted Sarah to get pregnant, he would basically have to beat her up.
Yo, Shalaki King.
Go ahead, all right.
They still had birth issues back then, man.
God.
Fertility issues back then.
God, all right. They still had the same problems, man. So now they say, you know what, we're going, they start with the the rough play, and they got the whips and all of this stuff. Right? Why you think Esau today, if man, you brothers that been at camp, and you have the Edomite, especially the Edomite woman bowing down and kiss the boots. Let's just say she's kissing it a bit more, she's putting a bit more emphasis on it. She has no problem being down there. Right? You start cursing her out and all of this stuff, and she's liking it. Right? You start saying she's going to slavery, and she's like, ooh, she's liking it. Right? That's the profaneness of Esau. So they're used to this type of stuff. This is part of their rituals. You beat the woman down, physical abuse, and she's loving it. That's the sick nature of these Edomites.
But the festival had other aims too. February was the month of purification, and the goatskin whips were sometimes called februa, or purifying tools. So the luperci...
Right. So you see like them... Let me show you something real quick. Let's see. Catholics. And all this is like a fetish. Look at this.
Catholics in the Philippines whip themselves and carry wooden crosses as they reenact the last days of Jesus Christ by the Catholic Church, and then whip their backs by the punishments
See
as
this?
misinterpretations of faith, saying prayers and sincere repentance are enough to commemorate the observance of Lent.
All right, here's the other one. This is what they call it, self-immolation. Is it this one? See the priest whipping himself.
Salakia.
Go ahead, Doc.
It's kind of like what you were saying about the BDS. What you call that? Oh yeah, BDSM and like what's the other one? Like a masochist.
Right. Right. Sick as hell, man. Right. And this is all part of their customs. You got the priests right here. And look, they got the all red. This is all part of rituals right here. All part of their customs. They look at it with pain and pleasure. All part of their customs. All right, let me finish this video real quick.
Ahrayah was about cleansing the city and community, and also about providing reminders of its legendary origins. Who knows what happened to the goatskins after the festival was over? Were they burnt, or maybe saved as a kind of relic or souvenir?
Yeah, they were saved, all right. And speaking about purging, if any of y'all get a chance, definitely watch the latest Purge movie. Definitely watch the latest Purge movie, because that's what's about to happen in Chicago. All right, so yeah, definitely get a chance. Definitely watch the Purge movies. Let me get one more. Let me get Romans chapter 1 and verse 21.
Gone.
Bring it out when you got it, King. And just read on down. Read on down to verse 30.
Con, there's the book of Romans, chapter 1, and verse, start at 21, you said? And verse 21, because that when they knew God, they glorified him not as God, neither were thankful, but became vain in their imaginations, and their foolish heart was darkened. Professing themselves to be wise, they became fools, and changed the glory of the uncorruptible God into an image made like to corruptible man, and to birds, and four-footed beasts, and creeping things.
And what? Four-footed what?
And four-footed beasts, and creeping things.
Right? Having sex with animals, right? The dogs and all of that, you know?
Con. Verse 24, wherefore God also gave them up to uncleanness through the lust of their own hearts, to dishonor their own bodies between themselves. Verse 25, who changed the truth of God into a lie, and worship and serve the creature more than the Creator, who is blessed forever.
Right? So verse 24, but tying in with Valentine's Day, uncleanness in their lust, right? Dishonoring their own bodies, sleeping with everybody, right? Verse 25, we changed the truth of God into a lie. Well, last year they had Valentine's Day on the same day as the Feast of Purim. A lot of people celebrated Valentine's Day. And if they were to repent, came back to the Lord, they should have been keeping the Feast of Purim, which is our feast days. Read on.
For this cause, God gave them up unto vile affections, for even their women did change the natural use into that which is against nature.
Right? Their women did change their natural use into that which is against nature. Right? So now you got lesbians celebrating Valentine's Day. Right? All an abomination.
Shalaki.
Right? Go ahead, Ak.
Giving a horse a blowjob. That's crazy.
Right, giving a horse a blowjob.
She couldn't control herself.
Right.
She couldn't hold it back.
And the Edomite dude was watching.
Huh?
And the Edomite dude was watching.
Yeah, Khan.
Probably partake in it. Both of them. Read on.
Come on. Verse 28, verse 27. And likewise also the men, leaving the natural use of the woman, burn in their lust one toward another.
Did they what?
Burn in their lust one toward another.
Right.
Men with men, working that which is unseemly, and receiving in themselves that recompense of their error. Was
right, men with men, like Little Nas X, like Bad Bunny, right? Like Sam Smith. I don't want to click on these joints, man.
Yeah, con.
Right? Like Sam Smith, burning their lust one towards another, men with men. Read on.
Working that which is unseemly, and receiving in themselves that recompense of their error, which was met.
Right, read on.
And even as they did not like to retain God in their knowledge.
Right, they didn't like to retain God in their knowledge, like Damar Hamlin, the football player, damn near died on the field 2 months ago, and now he come back with his shirt talking about basically worshiping Satan. Right? Praying to God to help him and save him. And now he showed up to the Super Bowl with his shirt talking about worshiping Satan. Right? And mocking 𝐤𝐿. Find this right here. Check this out. This bastard. There we go. Making an appearance on the field, and this is the one right here.
What's going on, Supernatural Life family? We don't want people wearing this.
Hold on, you got some nerves, man. Even the devil cursing you out. That's how you know it's crazy. So look. Even Satan cursing you out. Let me find a better one. That one. All right, here we go. This is the one right here. All right, so this is Damar Hamlin, the football player, showed up to the Super Bowl with a jacket like that, mocking 𝐤𝐿, basically.
Damn.
Yeah, and then they had another one. It was with him and another dude. Satan on the jacket. I think it was when it was posing. All right, just keep reading out.
Come on. Verse 28, and even as they did not like to retain God in their knowledge, God gave them over to a reprobate mind to do those things which are not convenient, being filled with all unrighteousness, fornication, wickedness, covetousness, maliciousness, full of envy, murder, debate, deceit, malignity, whispers, backbiters, haters of God, despiteful, proud, boasters, inventors of evil things, disobedient to parents.
All right, read on.
Verse 31, without understanding, covenant breakers, without natural affection, implacable, unmerciful.
All right, read on.
Who knowing the judgment of God, that they which commit such things are worthy of death. not only do the same, but have pleasure in them that do them.
Right. And that sums it all up with this. Right? The Grammys, the Super Bowl, Valentine's Day, all leading up. You know, these are people that is worthy of death. So stay away from Valentine's Day, stay away from these wicked holidays, and keep the commandments of Yahweh Shemel. We are in a place of captivity called Babylon under Satan's authority, USA. You know, in the midst of this, try to be a light in a world full of darkness and devils. God?
God.
So all praises, hopefully I was edified, you know, pertaining to Nimrod, Faunus, Pan, Lupercus, Aphrodite, Semiramis, all these different abominations. Babylon, Lupercalia, you know, just keep the commandments, man. And do not celebrate Valentine's Day. It ain't worth it. Wait till Feast of Purim and you can get lit in righteousness. You know? That Tuesday night class, hopefully brothers and sisters was edified. And I yield.
God. All praises the water king. I learned a lot there, man.
Mighty lesson.
Con, that was a beautiful lesson.
Yeah, it was a wicked ass place, man.
Good lesson.
Don't let Cupid hit you with that arrow. Bob and weave and duck and dodge.
Or what you say? Hit you in the liver?
Yeah, hit you in the liver, man. With a quick quiver. Quick quiver hit you in the liver. Let's see, stop sharing. So do not celebrate Valentine's Day. It ain't worth it. God?
God.
Not worth it. Yeah, but definitely watch that Purge movie. You know, like they said, February, the month of purification, basically a month of purge. So that's what they're going to try to do. But Passover's coming up. Definitely get your preparations in order. You know, and things going to get worse before it gets better. So got to continue to push forward and maintain. You know, Most High bring the rain and the pain. You know, kill all these devils being insane. That, you know, let's stay in our lane, maintain, keep the works, keep the faith. Tell the devil, like out of sight said, the Edomites are the devil to his goddamn face. Come here, Charlotte. God.
Come here, Charlotte.
All right, so we're going to close off with the Lord's Prayer. Let's face the east. Let's close it out. All right, praise Yahweh Hashem El Shai. Let's close it out with the Lord's Prayer. Praise Yahweh Hashem El Shai, Hashem HaKadosh, Baruch Shah, Dabalat Shmayatha, Abanawa, Shabbat Shemayim, Kodash, Chaya, Shemka, Yahweh, Malakufka, Dabar Ratazaka, Chaya, Isha, Barataza, Kawa, Chaya, Bashemayim, Nadananawa, Lacham, Kal, Yawam, Wasalachnawa, Chabwafnawa, Kazalachnawa, Chabwafinawa, Wala'a, Tabiyainawa, Manasayawan, Abal, Habushainawa, Mayan, Rai, Kaya, Laka, Kamalakwa, Wa'ala, Wataparaf, Laiwalamyam,
Amen.
We ask Yahweh Hashem Shah to please send death and destruction and wrath and righteous judgment against the wicked and against those that try to come against the nation of Israel. We ask you to strengthen those. Yahweh Hashem Shah is trying to move in the spirit of righteousness, to direct our steps, to guide us and to bless us, and to keep us strong in the spirit for the brothers and sisters of the nation of Israel. To strengthen us in these last days, mentally, physically, spiritually, to bless us as well financially, to heal those that are sick, to help those in their endeavors, Yahweh Shem Shai, and to help us prepare ourselves for the Passover and the moving of the right spirit, Yahweh Shem Shai. Put the angels around all the brothers and sisters in the household to keep us safe and protected, and to bring death and destruction again to the wicked in the Babylon and to all the heathens and the Edomites as well, Yahweh Shem Shai. We actually help those that are in marriages, husband and wives, to keep them strong, to build together, Yahweh Shem Shai, to help those that are courting, to help those that's moving together as a nation, to help come together, Yahweh Shem Shai, to help keep the household strong, to build the houses in these last days in the midst of captivity, Yahweh Shem Shai. We also actually strengthen us, brothers and sisters, in these times, and to keep us in the spirit of patience and of love and kindness amongst each other as a nation, and to guide the people in these last days, and to destroy the wicked, Yahweh Shem Shai, and help get us out of Babylon, and to bring more chariots and UFOs to destroy this place, and bring more death angels around here to destroy the wicked. Cause more earthquakes, man. Call me a shot.
Home is Rollins.
What's my man?
On.
Oh, praise.
All praises. Most High bless you, brothers. Shalom.
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 Watch some purge, man.
Gonna roll for your God, Jeremiah.
Roll for your God. Oh yeah, the locks is back. Good.
God. Oh, that's what you're working with, King?
Yeah, out to the
Okay.
sisters, brother.
Who's styling your joint up now?
Yo, when there's a will, there's a way. One door closed, the other one open.
God.
I thought the lock stopped rapping.
Huh?
I thought the lock stopped.
Well, they made an appearance for the Grammys.
Yeah, the locks is back, man. The locks is back. Rapping and bowling, freestyling, doing their thing, man.